Dirty as fuck, fuck these faggots.
NC-17, North Central, and Augustana face off in a CCIW matchup. Football on its way next on NCTV 17. Welcome in, everybody. It is a disappointing loss that the Cardinals are coming off of, 42-20 to Wheaton. A bounce-back game is required today, and Augustana visits Benedetti Worley Stadium to try and provide that. Well, they're not trying to provide it, but certainly the Cardinals are hoping for it today here in this matchup of CCIW foes. Kevin Jackman, Grant Sabo on NCTV 17. It's homecoming, and a lot of the festivities are going on around us, and it's certainly this morning a big day for the Cardinal football program. And I want to start with this. Lenny Radke, Cam Kniss, they're inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I know that's something special for you.
You know, it is. I had the opportunity to play with both of those guys. Cam Kniss here at North Central, Lenny Radke not only here at North Central, but also starting from the time we were in 4th grade through high school, and then here also. And I was talking with Sports Information Director Clark Tusher earlier today, talking about how those were the perfect two to pick to start out the, I'm sure, incountable number of players from the Thorne era that will be inducted into the Hall of Fame over the years. I was talking with Clark, and he was saying that there was debate as to which one to put in first. They usually only do one per sport per year, and they decided that there wasn't a way that they could choose between the two of them and to put both of them in at the same time in the same year. And I think that was absolutely the right call. It was a classy move by the athletic department. I mean, I cannot speak enough to the leadership qualities of both of those individuals and how wonderful they were for the program and for us as their teammates. And it's just I'm overwhelmed with emotion and pride and everything that, you know, that happened, and I'm very proud of the college for honoring them.
Well, we'll hear plenty of the stories throughout the broadcast as well, so I'm looking forward to that. So from the 2002 team to now the 2017 team, 5-1 after that loss to Wheaton. Certainly, as I mentioned off the top, disappointing that game ended the way it did. But now a chance today against an Augustana team. But it all starts with Brock Rutter. And this guy is the leader of the team, both on the sideline, off the field, but especially on the field. His production is second to none, and he needs to show it today against this Viking team. Yeah,
he exhibits a lot of Cam Kniss type qualities there. Yeah, he has been absolutely phenomenal for the last, year and a half so far, and then we're excited for the next 2.5 years for we take a look at some of the highlights here. You know, it's interesting to see the many different styles that he's able to you know, he can sling it. He's got some touch. He's got finesse. You know, the tool bag that he has is absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. He's fantastic. Able to fit the ball into tight windows. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, just, you know, you talk about threading the needle, and it's a phrase that gets tossed around quite a bit, but my gosh.
You know, we talk to Coach Thorne every week on the Red Zone, and it almost seems like a broken record at this point. This guy's on another level. The way he approaches the game from a quarterback perspective is on a higher level. That is what he always says. It helps that he has a new talented receiver, a go-to guy that he can throw to, and it's Andrew Kaminsky. He's a freshman, but he certainly does not look like it.
No, he does not play like a freshman. Kaminsky is a special individual because he's able to step up, and it's not often that freshmen come into a nationally ranked program and make a splash the way this young man has. Here we see him on the swing. Look at the speed at which he gets back up to full speed and you know, not afraid to lower his shoulder and drop the boom on somebody, which is something that receivers don't necessarily like to do all that often. Coach John Thorne used to joke all the time that they were made out of porcelain.
Yep.
So, you know, here he is. And again, look at him drop the shoulder. And he stayed on his feet. He stayed on his feet. You know, that's something that I love, absolutely love.
And then right there, the awareness to kind of sit down in the pocket.
Sit down and
you don't expect that from a freshman.
No, a lot of times freshmen get wide-eyed because this game is so much faster than what they're used to in high school, especially the secondary and the receivers. And with the wherewithal to be able to find green grass and sit there instead of running an arrow on a sheet of paper is a level of maturity that's not often found.
Well, he's just one of 4 freshman wide receivers that have already made an impact on this Cardinal football team. Speaking of first-year players that have made an impact, nobody, and I mean nobody, has made, even in the conference, as big of an impact in their first year as Dom Mugalu. 11 touchdowns, and we're only 6 games in.
11. The man has 11 touchdowns. That's unbelievable. You know, he's able to come in here, and on top of it, too, there was we graduated a large crop of receivers last year, so there were shoes to fill. But it's not like Austin Bernick is gone. He's still here and is still as productive as ever. Bernick is having a heck of a year, and to complement that, you bring in Mugalu, who just is an absolute powerhouse, running people over. And you know, you see on that play right there, bang-up job by the offensive line, clearing room for him to run. It's just a wonderful thing to see. And it really talks about, it highlights, it showcases the ability of this program not to rebuild, but just to reload. And they're reloading before they're even unloaded in the first place. You know, it's just, it's mind-boggling, it's head-scratching, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, let's go back. We've alluded to it a couple of times, but let's review what happened in that Wheaton game. It was a unique set of circumstances, and here's the highlight from that game out in Wheaton. Logan and the North Central Cardinals own the Little Brass Bell for now. But the battle awaits. North Central 5-0 coming into the matchup. Curtis McWilliams and the Wheaton Thunder enter on a 2-game slide. Opening quarter, and the Cardinals are backed up on 3rd down. But Brock Rutter finds Andrew Kaminsky on the crosser, and the freshman slips a tackle and finds a crease. A chunk of 34 yards, 1st down, and then a 2-hour and 11-minute lightning delay. And now we're back to football, but the drive stalls inside the 5, and Jeff Thorne calls on Liam Crotty, who's good from 19 yards out. NCC strikes first for a score. Wheaton now with the rock and handing off to star running back Shola Olateju, but Josh Leonard there to stuff him in the backfield for a big loss on the play. Later in the same drive, McWilliams drops back to pass and gets picked off by DJ Workenthien. That's the first career swipe for the junior linebacker. So now NCC back on the offensive. Austin Bernick shimmies through the hole and bursts through, 15-yard pickup, and also a 1st down. And while Bernick starts the drive, Dom Mugalu will finish it. 10th score of the season, and North Central up 10-0 in a rainy affair. North Central back with it, and Rutter airing it out for Jake Beasley, but Nick Blazek leaps for the interception. Now Wheaton looking to battle back. Thunder offense inside the 5, the handoff to Olateju, successful, Wheaton on the board, except it isn't. A flag for hands to the face pulls this ball back 15 yards. Very next play, McWilliams goes Zach Lindquist's way, but the tight end gets walloped and he coughs up the ball. Tyler Oakley with the hit and the recovery, and the Cardinals escape danger. NCC trying to get away from their own end line. Rutter hooking up with Michael Svikas down the sideline. A big 25-yard pickup. Bernick still bruising. The senior bouncing around, then kicks it to the outside. Big 17-yard gain has the Cardinals in striking distance. But on the next play, Mugalu breaks through, but as he hits the ground, the ball pops out, and it's ruled a fumble. Thunder catch a break, trailing 10-0 in the 2nd quarter. Wheaton again driving. Little play-action fake. McWilliams turns away from Workenthien, only to get smoked by Oakley. Cardinals drop him for a 15-yard loss. Under 5 to play in the half, and Rutter doing it with the feet. How about that spin move? 17-yard gain for the Cardinal signal caller, and NCC comes away with another field goal. So Wheaton, trailing 13-0, looking at just a few minutes to go into the half. Spencer Peterson, in a quarterback, fakes the option and goes deep. Touchdown to Carter Roberts. Thunder finally scoring. We hit the half at a 13-7 score North Central lead, but the game suspended because of another massive storm. So here we are, a beautiful night on Monday for some football, and freshman offensive lineman Sharmore Clark trying to pump up his team and the Cardinal faithful behind him. Wheaton hitting the ground running after receiving the kickoff out of the half. McWilliams goes to the back of the end zone to T.J. Williams, and just a few moments in, Thunder have their first lead at 14-13. First drive in 2 days for NCC. Rutter with a pair of incompletions to start, and then a third leads to a 3-and-out. So Wheaton hopes to capitalize on that momentum. Olateju with a cutback lane, slices upfield, and he's in. Wheaton leads 21-13, 8:55 to go in the third. With the offense struggling to move the chains, Rutter on the bootleg looking for something downfield. Football pinballs around, and it's intercepted. Luke Smith tiptoes the sideline. That's a tough break for the Cardinals. So now the defense trying to tighten up against the relentless offensive attack. And Logan in there to deny Olateju. And then his teammates rush to clean it up. But the Thunder still sustain the drive and are now inside the red zone. McWilliams with the shoulder rip to avoid the rush and finds Trey Hanley. He makes a cut and he's in. Wheaton on a 21-0 roll, up 28-13 with 3:18 to play in the third. So now North Central needs to respond. Rutter flush from the pocket, awkward angle on the throw, but he finds Kaminsky. That's a big-time first down. To the fourth, and it's the first play of the quarter, and it's Magalu again finding pay dirt, and the Cardinals are alive, now trailing 28-20 with 14:53 to play. But the Cardinals need a stop. Unfortunately, McWilliams continues to effectively air it out. He bootlegs and connects with Philip Nichols, and Wheaton extends the lead to 35-20. Tack on another Thunder score, and the Little Brass Bell is changing hands. Wheaton wins 42-20, upsetting the fourth-ranked Cardinals. North Central falls to 5-1, but is still in the driver's seat for the conference championship. Welcome back to Benedetti Worley Stadium. We're just a few minutes out from opening kickoff in our matchup between Augustana and North Central. And now it's time to join the third member of our broadcast crew this afternoon. We'll go down to the field to Ryan Riskey.
Well, guys, it's been quite the week for the Cardinals. They had a short week coming off a two-day loss to Wheaton. Game got suspended on Saturday, and then they had a short week of practice. They actually didn't practice until Wednesday, so it's going to be interesting to see how they respond on this opening drive. One guy to watch out for today, though, is going to be Bernick, who's averaging 4.7 yards per carry and has 591 yards on the ground this season. Guys, back up to you.
We talked about his thunderous backfield mate in Dom Mugalu, but certainly, and you mentioned this, Bernick is the same guy he has been for the last 2 years, and in fact, Mugalu's searching for this touchdown record that Bernick currently holds. He had 18 his sophomore year on the ground, and these two guys provide a phenomenal 1-2 punch.
I would even argue that Bernick is running better this year than he did last year, and even with that, there is still another X factor in the backfield. It's Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen, really.
That's a great comparison for Chicago Bears fans, certainly aware of that, but the power back, and then you have the little scat back. And I wouldn't certainly call Bernick a scat back because he occasionally goes through the tackle box. He'll go through the A gap and the B gap, but they really do complement each other in such a fine way. Now the Cardinals will receive this opening kickoff. Tyler Oakley is back to return for the Cardinals. In addition to Zane Ladika, who again switches numbers. He's now number 29 this afternoon. He's been 30, he's been 31, now he's 29. But so those two will be back to return this football and hopefully for the Cardinals get them off on the right foot. Kicking this one away will be Jacob Stites. As the ball's teed up, 15 minutes up on the clock here inside Benedetti Worley Stadium. Homecoming on the campus of North Central College, and we are underway. Ladico watches it soar past him and into the end zone near the North Quarterback Club, and we'll see the offense come out onto the field. Brock Rutter is the focal point, coming off the Offensive Player of the Year award in 2016. He's impressive, but this year hasn't quite put up the same production. You can chalk it up to the receiving staff leaving last year, but certainly at this point in the season, he needs to start getting things going a little bit.
Yes, I would also like to throw in that I think the running game is at a better point this year than it was at this point last year, so he's not as reliant on him to throw the football.
Austin Burnett gets the opening carry, shakes a couple of tacklers, and drags another down to the 35.
I expect a steady diet of that today.
That was Grant Burke, a defensive end who was just clinging on for dear life to Bernick as he was mowing guys over.
Yeah, heck of a job by the offensive line up front. They really opened up a huge hole. He was 7 yards before he was even touched.
2nd and 1. Play action. And Rutter steps up, now looks to take off. Stiff arms, goes out of bounds, and I believe he'll be still shy of a first down. Rutter tried to get things going on the ground last week with his own feet, and we saw him pretty agile with a nice spin move during that Wheaton game. That might be a new component of this offense to try and keep opposing defenses off guard.
If I know Jeff Thorne, there will not be a much designed run from Rutter. As agile as he is, I think they're going to use his feet as an escape valve.
So now a 3rd and 2, first drive of the game, handoff to Bernick. Tries to power his way forward. He's going to be shy of the line to gain by about a yard. The Cardinals might have to punt on this opening drive.
But really nice job by the Augie D line up front. They look fantastic. Really able to establish themselves and maintain their presence at the line of scrimmage, which kind of stuffed up those running lanes there. Didn't allow Bernick anywhere to go.
So Ladico will punt this one away. Just a minute and a half off the game clock as the Cardinals go 3 and out on the opening drive. Certainly not how they wanted to respond in this game. Punt is away, and it is a doozy. Look at that. Good hang time, a fair catch at the 28, nearly bobbled, but safely secured by Griffin Schuster.
Yeah, I saw it bounce off his shoulder pads and got real excited for a split second there until he resecured it.
So that's where Luke Blyer and this Augustana offense will take the field. Augustana is in the midst of a difficult season. 1-6, they're only 1-4 in conference. But kind of like the North Park team that came in a few weeks ago, that isn't the whole story. They have played some people very tight. They could easily be 3-4, maybe even 4-3.
Yeah, absolutely. They're in many games. So this is no cakewalk.
Blyer, the quarterback, a junior. 2nd year as the starter. Drops back and heaves it over the middle. It is behind the intended target in Ethan Jennings. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10. You want to go back and look through the schedule, just go back a week. They had a game in hand against Milliken, and down come the Big Blue and take the game 28-27. Just a heartbreaking loss.
I'm relatively certain there was a rally before that too. I think they were up pretty significantly on Milliken, and Milliken came back. What a form tackle. Holy cow. Wow. I mean, head across in front, drive the feet, roll the hips. That's textbook. Wow.
Hunter Leduc on the tackle that got the crowd wowing on their feet.
And me.
And you. .12:47 to play, opening quarter. 3rd and 11 as the Cardinals had jumped off sides.
Yeah,
was it a false start, though?
And I think left defensive end went a little bit too far there.
It's Josh Leonard. We'll see if the left tackle maybe had jumped prior, make that the right tackle. Hunter Menke. And no, it is encroachment. So that's actually a big play for Augustana, because that significantly shortens this third down to go. And Matt Taylor will come out onto the field. The Cardinals abandon the dime package. Racing off the field is Tyler Hull, a defensive back. And the Cardinals bring now 4 down linemen. Will they bring pressure? Looks like Sora might blitz to the A-gap. Now he drops back, and here he comes. Right through the hole. Escaping is Blyer, diving forward, and he might have the first down. He appears upon the spotting like it's going to be right there on the yard marker.
Just shy, I think. Boy, it was really, D-line got a tiny bit overzealous here and overcommitted themselves upfield, got some shoulders turned and created some running lanes. It was a really heads-up play to be able to pick up what he did.
So they will punt. Came up about a yard shy. Boy, Sora got in there in a real hurry and just got a little too far upfield.
Boy, watch your football here.
Rough snap, good recovery. And the punt to the near sideline is short and takes a Cardinal bounce.
Well, the Cardinals had a hold return on there. They weren't going after the punt. They were trying to block. But if the long snapper is going to sit there and lollipop it back like that, if I'm the North Central special teams coach, I am going after every single time they punt.
33-yard punt sends the Cardinal offense up at the 30-yard line. Second drive of the game, a couple of uneventful drives for both teams. Cardinals going 3 and out. Austin Bernick starting the first drive with a 9-yard carry, but then the drive stalling from there. Great crowd on hand today. It is homecoming 2017, and people have certainly showed up. It helps that it is 75 degrees and sunny, and it is just a gorgeous day for football.
Yeah, it's picture perfect, and it's also Augustana. And while they may be having a rough season this year, that's not necessarily been the case historically. I'll get into that in a little bit.
Long throw, far sideline complete, and a gain of about 20 yards, and a massive hit comes out of bounds, draws the penalty marker out of the pocket of the sideline referee as Andrew Kaminsky gets up the field in a hurry, and he'll have another 15 yards added to the end of this one.
That's a nice big pickup there. So back to Augie, though. They of course, are the only team to win, I believe it is 5 consecutive national titles in the early 80s. And as late as you mentioned the 2002 season earlier, that was my freshman year, they beat us on this field on family night 65-0.
Bad taste in your mouth, huh?
Real bad. We had cards made up that said, "What have you done today to beat Augie?" Coach John Thorne handed them out. We carried them around in our wallets, and 2 years later, we beat them. Again, right here on this field on a day a lot like today. It's a gorgeous day.
Certainly a sense of vindication. And now the two programs have flipped. Third of the flat, and Corey Hartema has himself a first down. Hartema, the suddenly senior-most member of this receiving corps, a junior. And when you look at the way that this group has kind of formed over the course of the season, with the loss of Ryan Kuhl, they need Michael Svikas and Corey Hartema to step up as juniors to lead that group, and they certainly have. Run on the left side, and Bernick upended. Gain of 2 on the play. Nice job by the defensive end. Get it in there. Make the defensive back, John Esquini.
What was that name?
John Esquini.
I like it.
So just a limited gain of 2 yards. 10:45 to play. Kaminsky one-on-one on the outside and gets the ball. First down and then some.
You know, that's what we were talking about in the pregame, right? There's a nice little hitch. The cornerback was sitting 10 yards back. He had a nice cushion. There's plenty of time for Rutter to deliver the ball, him to get it, turn, and make a nice little move. That's a mature route for a freshman.
And the fact that he is already in sync with Brock Rutter. It helps, in talking to the two of them, they have played together for a while. In fact, summer 7-on-7s they would play together. Never went to the same high school as Jalen Dennis takes the field in the Wildcat formation and rushes up for, oh, and a football's loose. It's into the end zone. Oh, it's close to the end zone. Recovered at the 1 by Augustana.
You can't have that. Although, you know what this could potentially set up?
Your favorite play, your baby.
My favorite scoring play.
Safety is certainly in the cards if the Cardinals can get penetration into the backfield, but certainly that fumble is not going to make the offense very happy.
No, it's not good. It's costly. It's, you know, you're getting 2 points as opposed to potentially 7. Not very good. You got to hold on to the football. Well, my consolation prize is a potential safety.
Offense takes a seat and they'll mull it over. They were moving the ball pretty well up until that fumble. Quarterback keeper Blyer barely gets out of the end zone. Tyrone Suggs and DJ Workenthien right there.
Yeah, this is really when that Cardinal defensive line shines. I've said before, I think it is probably the strongest position unit on this team. They've got every single man on their 2 deep is an animal, and this is really where they can shine.
Freshman Taha Ione is on the left side of the line. Thrown to the flat, and a penalty marker comes in. Oh, and a second penalty comes in.
I don't know if I agree with that.
The hit provided by Pat Cravens, and he looks like he's shaken up, as is the receiver on the far side of the field.
Look, that ball came out.
Cravens is going to require some attention from the medical staff as he limps off the field. The play was blown dead, although Blyer continued the play, threw it to the outside, at which point Cravens came up and laid the hit.
Boy.
Well, they cited number 2. That was not number 2, I don't believe, who, that's Zach Greenberg, and I don't think that was him who laid the hit. Yeah, it was Cravens, so maybe just a miscalculation, but right now, yeah, Zach Greenberg isn't even on the field. So a 1st and 10, Cardinals bail out Augustana as Justin Sturzma comes up and immediately wraps up the ball carrier on the far side.
It's really hard for me to be cynical and not say don't hit him too hard there.
Danny Oliger bringing in the catch. Yeah, I mean, to me, the only real thing you could say is defenseless receiver, maybe on that last play.
He wasn't defenseless.
He had the football.
The ball was there. The hit was timed up nicely. The play had been blown dead, which is where it came from, but then don't throw the football. You know, everything happens bang, bang. Everything's instinctual. You know, how many times do you rep that?
Cardinal defensive line gets after a deep throw and incomplete. Over the head of the intended target, Ethan Jennings. In coverage right there for the Cardinals was Kylie Dorsey, who appears to be sliding into the near side cornerback spot. Onto the field is a safety, Matt Sutherland, to take over for Pat Cravens. Tyler Hull also on the field. So a 3 safety look over the top.
Well, it looks like the Cardinals have subbed out a defensive lineman. I believe I saw Dowds come out. They're running with a 3-down set right now.
3rd and 8. And here it comes. Penalty marker flies. Football lofted downfield and incomplete way over the head of the intended target, Jennings. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold. Yeah, they declined it. I probably would have too. You take the 4th down and get the ball.
That must be what the Cardinals are thinking. Interesting development, though, as we come out, as the defense comes out, I should say. On the 2 deep that is provided before every game, it says Zach Greenberg is the far side cornerback. On that series, Tyler Oakley was manning the island on that opposite side. He's technically considered the nickel, but he might, at some point, sub out a cornerback and play that role.
Sure, work himself into the position, keep some legs fresh.
Another lollipop on the snap back to the punter. A liner sent to Kaminsky. Plenty of space out in front, and a nice open field tackle made by Vikings linebacker Sam Francis to limit it to just a 2-yard gain. Cardinals take over at the 32-yard line.
It was a really nice coverage job by Augustana to get down there and make that play.
So now the Cardinal offense, 2 unsuccessful drives, a 3-and-out, and then a fumble that resulted with the Vikings taking over at the 1-yard line. So you know that they want to score a point, preferably 7 on this drive. Throw into the flat, the little wheel route to Austin Bernick, and he's quickly up the sideline and a first down. Yeah,
that was a swing, and no one went with Bernick. Nobody was paying any attention to him, and it was kind of, when I, as a running backs coach, would rep swing routes, I always tell the running back, kind of get on your horse and go. And Bernick was kind of taking his time getting out there, and it really timed up nicely with, you know, Rutter's progression. It's probably something that they coach for that particular play, but holy cow.
Carry up the middle, a 2-yard gain. Austin Bernick, the ball carrier. This offensive line has looked better this year than they have the last 2.
Well, they've always been dynamite in pass pro, but this year they've really got the run game going.
So now 2nd and 7. Rutter drops back, throws to the far side. Jalen Dennis, who fumbled to end that second drive, right there on the reception, and picks it up for a first down. So it's nice to see the Cardinals not losing faith in a young player that makes a miscue, goes right back to him, and he rewards them with a first down.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of the Cardinal philosophy is, you know, you don't abandon people, and you trust your.
Rutter, handoff, Bernick on the delayed carry. Gain of 4. Midway through the first quarter, and we still don't have a score. Cardinal offense slowed down in the second half of that Wheaton game, just 7 points. And you can't point to conditions because it was a beautiful night on Monday. But the unique circumstances, certainly, they're going to throw people through a loop. You get ready for that game essentially 3 different times. Rutter hit from behind, walloped on the play. Defensive lineman Xavier Holly comes up with a big whack.
It was a really nice play.
Now brings up a 3rd and 6, and those are the kind of hits that Rutter, you don't want him taking.
Yeah, Holly working against Farrelly there.
That ball intended for Austin Bernick. So the Cardinals facing a 3rd down. They've already punted once. They've fumbled once. They're on the fringe of 4-down territory. In motion is Bernick as Rutter rolls to the opposite side, goes to a screen to Damugalo, and look at all the space he has to run through. Great blocking out in front, has him down to the 18-yard line.
There's going to be a block in the back. That's coming back. Saw it happen. I believe it was on Jalen Dennis.
Yeah, the penalty marker sits at the 30. I did not see that fly until you mentioned it. Yeah, they're going to call holding here.
Yeah, on Dennis. Hands were outside the frame, and it looked like he was behind him.
Let's see, he's at the top of the screen there. Yeah, he turned him, just like you said.
Good call by the officials.
The foul and the associated penalty yards tacked on from the spot of the foul, so it is only essentially a 6-yard penalty. It provides the Cardinals with a 3rd and long opportunity. Rutter, good pocket, clean, steps up, buys time, over the middle, Svikas on the catch and run. There's Dennis again, the lead blocker, and he provides enough room to get to the 20. So essentially the same play.
For the most part, the same results anyway.
At least,
you know, I really like the play design of that previous one. Let's take a look here though. And look at the protection up front, and a really nice job. I like how Dennis is not afraid to get up in it. I always appreciate a receiver that'll sell himself out, sell his body out to gain, for one of his compatriots to gain yardage.
We highlighted that in the, well, certainly when the ball's in his hands, Andrew Kaminsky welcomes. He brings the contact. Bernick running free, picks up a first down, and the only man in his way ended up being Austin Nice. But wow, look at this run. He just blows through the hole.
Really nice job up front. Bernick's acceleration before he gets to the line of scrimmage on that play is, I think, what makes it. It's deceptive.
Bernick shimmies his way, reaches out for the goal line. Touchdown, North Central. Cardinals strike first. Austin Bernick, back-to-back carries, picks up the final 20 yards of the drive.
Well, and that's just unbelievable. You saw the exact same thing on that play as you saw on the previous play, and I think that's something that he's really kind of improved on and worked on from last year to this year is how fast he goes from getting handed the football until he's at full speed. And it happens in such a hurry that people don't account for it and don't aim at the right angles. It gives defenses problems, gives defensive players problems on the other team because they're aiming at where he was and not where he's going to be.
We've seen a little bit of that component from both Mugalu and Bernick, but Austin has been featuring that for 3 years now. And you said this earlier, last year it seemed like maybe he was a tick behind where he was his sophomore year. And a lot of that can be chalked up to the deficiencies on the offensive line.
Some of it.
Not all of it, but some of it certainly can. But now everything appears to be clicking. Austin Bernick is running hard. He's accelerating much quicker than it appeared he was last year. And the offensive line, of course, is giving him some gaping holes to run right through.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want to see. Especially when you're a team that is poised to make and hopefully make some noise in the NCAA football playoffs.
Kicking this one away will be Darrell Watkins, the kickoff specialist. Short kick, fair caught, 22-yard line.
Good idea to fair catch it there.
So that's where Luke Blyer and the Augustana offense will set up. A couple of pretty uneventful drives to this point, but Blyers himself looks pretty good. He's slinging the football around, hasn't been very accurate, but he's been able to manipulate the pocket and evade some of the Cardinal pressure that has come his way.
Ish. They've got 7 total yards so far on offense.
Look to aim for better here. .5:37 to play, opening quarter, and a handoff, and nothing going there. The Cardinals just smother, but doing a nice job to at least get back to the original line of game is Antonio Cannon.
Sure, it was a great second effort there. He was kind of stacked up and didn't give up. I really enjoy seeing that.
Augustana, we mentioned it a few times, has played some tight contests, and they're going to rely mostly by rushing the football with their quarterback this year, Luke Blyer, having only thrown 73 times. Zachary Fuller also getting some time in there. 83 passes, but does have 3 interceptions to just 1 touchdown. Twisted down to the ground to the 29-yard line. And on that carry was the backup quarterback, Alec Jacobs.
It was a quick little meandering kind of thing there.
Is this a timeout for Augustana? No, a player down on the field. They'll take a quick break. And an offensive lineman appears to have maybe twisted the knee or something. Tommy Simons is on the field.
Coming to sit right in front of our broadcast booth is, as we talked about earlier, Hall of Famer Lenny Radke.
There you go. You were at the ceremony.
I was.
And we talked about this off the top, but a special moment for not just you, but also the 2 Hall of Fame
Definitely not
inductees.
me. It's a special moment. I'm proud of them, but they're a special moment.
But for the program as a whole, it's got to be something because this is the group that started this last 15 years of success.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's fun to see. Cam and Lenny have completely different leadership styles. They're both leaders in their own ways. You know, Cam is what you'd expect from a quarterback. He's charismatic. He's got always the right things to say, and you know, and he's going to inspire you, you know, with his not only his actions but also his words. Whereas like Lenny showed you how it was done. You know, he was a worker, and he was hard-nosed, and he was, you know, and you know, he wasn't the big guy to give a rah-rah speech to everybody, but he's the guy to pull you aside and tell you what he thinks. You know, it's very, very privileged to have played with both of them.
Augustana picks up the first down, and the ball carrier was Jacobs for a second consecutive snap. It's pretty incredible because as I sit here and I listen to your accounts of the early 2000s and when the program was still in its kind of infancy, because the Thorns came in, the program was just kind of listless, just floundering around, and they come in and John Thorne just turns this boat around in a hurry. I only know Cardinal football is a winning program.
Yeah, it was not when I decided to come here. They're coming off a 3-7 season in 2001.
Jacobs gets hammered in the backfield. It's Amonte Logan and Matt Taylor combining for the sack. Logan flexing the muscles, and Jacobs might have a nasty bruise at some point tomorrow. Boy, they got there in a hurry.
Yeah, there were several of angry red shirts.
But my point, I think, the overarching context is it's crazy how just 8 years can shift a perspective on a program, because you came in and then I came in 8 years later essentially, and my recollection of those first few years is, oh, this program's good. They must always have been good.
You know, one thing Cam said in his Hall of Fame speech this morning that I never thought about, and I like the way that he phrased it, is he said that, you know, the teams that are there now are big and fast and strong, and they win a lot, and they're fun to watch. But he said that the thing that was unique about our group was that we had to figure out how to win, and it took us 4 years to do it. You know, and we got progressively better each season, and that they've just continued to build on that. But we figured it out. That was kind of a fun thing to say. I enjoyed that. You know, they always talked about it. Our whole thing, our battle cry, was that we were building a new tradition at North Central College, and I couldn't be any more elated to see how that tradition has been continued.
3rd and 24 for the Vikings, and they'll go with a quarterback keeper. Somehow, Jacobs stays on his feet after getting spun around, and now he'll be dragged down by the ankles. Matt Sutherland coming up from the secondary might get credited with the sack.
Look at that. That's a sack for sure. Look at that speed. Look at the speed, the closing speed. All right, he should be taken down right here, and he just spins out. Look at him come out of nowhere. Woo! I mean, so if you look at this from a geometric standpoint, all right, the quarterback was running straight down the line, all right, whereas the angle taken by the DB, he was covering more ground in a hurry.
Way more.
Yeah,
significantly more.
He was running the hypotenuse of the triangle instead of one of the legs.
Boy, you can do this all day and won't get me at all.
Not a geometry guy?
No, no. Nice return here for the Cardinals. Andrew Kaminsky up the sideline, dragged out of bounds at the 33, but not before a 30-yard return. No flags on the field, I believe. And the Cardinal offense, ooh, there might be. Where is the penalty marker?
I don't see it.
Andrew Kaminsky appears a little slow to get up. The referees are talking. And this is going to be against the Cardinals. Where is the penalty marker?
All I heard was 15 yards from the spot where the receiver caught the ball. I didn't see the signal.
Wow, that erases a phenomenal return for Andrew Kaminsky. They kept the gunner. So the gunner comes down, and you can probably talk to this better than I can, but you can't keep him out of bounds.
Sure. So here's how it works. It's kind of like an honor system on both teams. So the gunner cannot run down out of bounds and then come back in and try and make the play. That's illegal. It is also illegal to push the gunner out of bounds and keep him out of bounds. Both of those things are against the rules.
It looks like that might have happened on the near sideline. So, as you heard, they will back the Cardinals up from the spot it was caught on, which was apparently the 38. So they'll back them up to the 23.
There's a costly penalty.
Rutter has Bernick to his right when he'll settle into the shotgun. 3 receiver set and a tight end in there. It's Alex Rose. Rutter takes off the feet, quarterback slide down to the 26-yard line. He was looking Corey Hardeman's way, but good coverage on the outside provided by the cornerback Dario Ingardona.
Dario is a cool first name.
It is. But a good decision from Rutter to yank it down, not chance anything. Cardinals could have put up a touchdown earlier, had a turnover, a fumble inside the red zone.
Yeah, it ended up not resulting in any Augustana points, but it did take points off the board for North Central.
Bernick on the carry, ridden down to the ground by Daniel Jaden. And that'll move the sticks. Bernick picks up another hard-earned first down.
Really, the ground game has been pretty fantastic so far today.
And the stats will bear that out as well. Bernick now 45 yards for a clip of just under 4 as Svikas drops the football after getting the boom hammered leveled on him.
Yeah, you gotta, the way I figure it, and I'm not a receiver, I've never been a receiver, nor will I ever be a receiver, but you're gonna get hit either way. You might as well hold on to the football and get hit.
There's really no point in bracing yourself, is there?
No.
More good coverage provided by Ingardona. As Jake Beasley in motion to the far side, 52 seconds remaining in this opening quarter on homecoming. Austin Bernick just ran into a block.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely what happened.
Offensive line, much improved from a year ago. And Sharmore Clark is a part of this, the freshman. You'll see him right there, number 55, left guard. Boy, this guy, they rave about this freshman and his ability to pick up the offense and just move people. It's fun to watch. 3rd and 8. Clean pocket for Rutter. And the flip out to Jalen Dennis is over his head, but penalty markers fly all over the field in the secondary.
Interesting. I wonder what they saw.
They're pointing towards the Cardinals. They are. They're going to, this is, whatever it is, it's on North Central. Here it comes. So pass interference on the Cardinals that has declined, and it brings up 4th down.
Boy, that came in from all the way over here. I wonder what they saw.
Might have been a pick route.
It could be.
Let's take a look
if we
at
can
this.
see.
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Great call by the officials.
Hardeman put a shoulder into Ingardona. So, for the second time in the game, it's Zane Ludico punting the ball away. It's kind of interesting. This opening quarter isn't how the Cardinals drew it up, but they still lead 7-0. And great coverage downfield. Augustana will take over at the 36, but not before the clock hits double zeros. And we go to the second quarter.
It was a gutsy call not to fair catch that.
Bearing down
a lot of
on
red jerseys around him.
But this Cardinal offense, this is almost consistent with the rest of the season. They show flashes. They look good. They go and march right down the field in short order. But then they kind of shoot themselves in the foot on other drives where they just can't quite keep moving the chains.
Yeah, there are penalties, there are turnovers, and these are things that, if you want to make a deep playoff run, must be cleaned up. And they know this. This is not a surprise. This is not, shocking wisdom. It's just a matter of execution and doing the little things properly.
Defense, of course, in the first half of that Wheaton game, phenomenal. 7 points. The only points given up were right at the end of the first half on a busted coverage on essentially a broken down play that Wheaton ad-libbed. Second half was a much different story. 35 points.
Yeah, they forgot to get off the bus.
Wheaton just aired it out.
Yeah, Wheaton looked wonderful in the second half. They really showed up to play.
Bad snap and a handoff, and it goes for -2 yards. That is Andrew Cray in there on the stop. But we've heard for the last few weeks the Cardinals want to get back to the brand of football they were playing last year, especially in the trenches. The defensive line, they haven't believed to be playing quite as well.
Really?
But how much, and I'm sure you have something to say about this, how much can you really blame a defensive line when the coverage might not be as great as it was a year ago on the back end?
Well,
throw over the middle. It is tipped by Oakley. Great play there. He wanted the interception, though.
yeah, he sure did. A couple inches too short.
Yep.
One thing that I love about football, and it was stressed by both Cam and Lenny in their Hall of Fame speeches this morning, is what a team game football is. So I don't think you can point the finger at any one unit. The defenses as a whole did not play well, and the offense didn't put up the points that they should have either. Cam pointed out that it's not just the 11 starters on offense and the 11 starters on defense, but it's everybody. You've got your scout guys, you've got your guys that are rotating in, and it's important that everybody does their job.
On 3rd and 11, a short out route, and Pat Cravens covers that up quickly as Antonio Cannon tried to put the moves on Cravens, and he had none of it. So it appears that this is the direction the Cardinals are going to go in as the offense comes off the field for Augustana. This was not the plan relayed, and it certainly looks like that it is now. Cravens and Oakley have moved to cornerback. Sutherland has come in at safety alongside Sturzma, and that might be how they try and fix some of the woes in the secondary.
That's not a bad idea.
You keep your best athletes on the field at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter LeDuc has played essentially the nickelback position that Tyler Oakley was occupying. Low snap, settles at the 31, and that's where the Cardinal offense will go back to work.
Ooh, I'd like to see Cravens get away from that ball a little bit faster than he did. When you're walking on the field like that, you're inviting somebody to come up and pile pick you.
Certainly don't want that.
No.
So in the huddle right now, you're a coach. You have an offense that certainly has the potential to put up 40 on any given week. You have 7 at the end of the first quarter. You could have 21, 28. What are you saying?
Execute. They're not executing right now.
Play action fake, throw to the near side. Jalen Dennis secures, wraps, and brings it in for a 6-yard gain.
The fact that they're able to move the ball is proof positive that the plan works. The offensive game plan is a sound one. And there's execution occurring to move the ball, but it's doing the little things right. It's taking care of the football. It's not getting penalties. It's, and all those are very important things that good teams do well.
Bernick shakes loose. Blockers out in front, tries to pick up steam and gets brought down from behind inside the 40-yard line. The door opened for just a split second, and Bernick slipped through for a massive gain on the play.
Boy, it is just so fun to watch. Look at him go.
Great play on the pursuit from behind. The linebacker, Luke Sawicki. Had it not been for his effort there, Bernick might have been able to string that out and get up the sideline. Long throw, far side, and Beasley on the catch. Another 6-yard gain. How about the arm strength on that throw from Brock Rutter to get it out there?
Yeah, how about it? Not an easy throw. A lot of times when you make that throw, if you don't have that arm strength, somebody comes underneath it and picks it off. He's able to get it there in time before that happens. The receiver didn't have to really stop and wait for it.
It's got a fair amount of zip on it. Beasley remains in there. He's the slot receiver for Brock Rutter, who's in the shotgun with Austin Bernick to his right. And they go with the carry to the senior back. Minimal gain to the 30. So many inexperienced receivers on this team. We've already highlighted Andrew Kaminsky. On the last catch was Jake Beasley. But you have Josh Ruiz, who has made an occasional impact. Jalen Dennis, we've seen today. These guys have stepped up and filled the void left by Alex Ulmer, Dylan Warden, and now Ryan Kuhl, who's out for the year with an injury. Pretty impressive stuff for this receiving corps as the Cardinals go to work on 3rd and 3. And Bernick will spin down to the 33, close to the first down marker.
I want to say he's just short.
They will mark it as a 4th down coming up, and Don Mugalu will check in, the short yardage back.
Yeah, a little 4-down territory here. I think that's a safe bet.
Needed the 32, and boy, that's going to be really close as well.
Looks like the official line judge is meandering as he walks out to spot the football.
They're going to have to stop the clock and mark this off. Cardinals confident they've left their offense on the field for the moment. Augustana seems confident that they might be able to walk off the field.
It's really fun to see them run with a fullback.
Here comes the chain gang, singular.
There's only one of them.
There's a perfect shot of it. Oh. They're really stretching this out. Oh!
By an eyelash.
Augustana made sure they accounted for every single one of those links. And I think the Cardinals got it by 1. Woo! I think we might have talked about this earlier in the season, but spotting the football is such an inexact science.
Yeah, I was just thinking that right as you said it. I'm surprised that they didn't. Well, I suppose it's a 1st down, so it doesn't matter that much. They're not going to use the chains to walk out and measure to make sure the ball is spotted correctly at the hash. But yeah, very, very inexact.
I always find it kind of hypocritical when they do that, when they actually mark it by the chain and they go, all right, it's going to be, you know, a foot away from the 1st down marker. Well, how many times did you just kind of roughly put the football on the ground leading up to this moment? Rutter throws near side. Svickis on the catch and run, going for the pylon on the far side. Touchdown, North Central, Michael Svickis. First time this year for the junior wide receiver.
Boy, it is exciting to see him catch that football and accelerate across the field. Now, that is a dangerous thing to do. You know, he was on the slant, and he was headed that way anyway. But the 2 defenders that were right near him fell over one another, which was great. It allowed him a little bit of space, and then he got some help, some blocking help from his buddies.
The kick from Liam Crotty is good. And the Cardinals take a 14-0 lead. Michael Svickis, a player who head coach Jeff Thorne said had his best week as a Cardinal against the Wheaton Thunder, comes up right here.
1, 2, 3. There's a block. There's a block. Well, I really think that the wide receiver, they must have focused on downfield blocking, because it has just been phenomenal all day long. It really, I love downfield blocks. If you can get a big boy downfield throwing a block, that's even more fun.
Special moment for Svickis, who has been used as sort of a jackknife on this team. All sorts of different roles. Last year he was kicking off. He was doing what Mr. Wilkins is about to do. A junior from Mattia Valley. Has to be a special moment for him. His first touchdown of the season. And it gives the Cardinals a 14-0 edge over Augustana on homecoming weekend. I also love the shot right after that touchdown of the stands. They're packed. They're completely full.
Yeah, well, homecoming.
It's a fun time. Caught at the 4, the Cardinals racing up the field, and great coverage on the play.
You know, and while Augie, you know, we mentioned the history of the Augustana program before, a lot of these alumni remember Augustana as I remember them. So
the guys that push you around early on.
Correct. So the game to come watch, you know, is a game against Augustana, you know, the former bully of the conference. And so there's, I'm sure, a little grin on the face of quite a few alumni and former football players with a 14-0 lead early in the second quarter.
Alec Jacobs is the quarterback in there, number 13, has ran more than he has thrown. They have a t-shirt cannon that has already put one on the roof and then just allowed t-shirt to unfold in midair.
Yeah, they're having bad luck with the t-shirt cannon.
0 for 2. Short run on the near side. This linebacking core for the Cardinals has basically escaped all criticism. Thick and thin, they have been phenomenal. And it's Tommy Sora and DJ Workenthien right in the middle of just about everything the Cardinals want to do defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. The linebackers have really been good, and I credit a lot of that to the stellar play by the defensive line up front and keeping them free to make their plays.
Off the fingertips, an incomplete pass to make that Max Uranich, the tight end. So 3rd and 6 coming up. Missing that was Blyers, just barely too tall. So now the Vikings will stretch it 4 wide with Blyers in the shotgun. So they continue to play musical chairs at the quarterback position.
Yeah, it's interesting as an offensive philosophy. You know, I'm hard-coded to be against a situation like that, but if you've got people that offer different skill sets, and obviously Wheaton has done well the last few years rotating quarterbacks, so.
Ryan Pitcher, the running back, was targeted on the screen. The Cardinals blew it up. Ball was in the air for seemingly forever, but no Cardinals in the vicinity. So a 3 and out for the Vikings yet again. Cardinal defense has returned to the dominant form they showed 2 weeks against North Park. Just 14 rushing yards, 3 passing yards. I would say that's pretty dominant.
Is this good? Did I break it? It says high score.
Alex Bryan picks the ball off the turf. Rugby kicks it to the near sideline. It's caught out of play by Cravens. Cardinals just inside midfield at the 45.
Interesting place to mark it. I thought it was behind where he caught it and went out of bounds in front of where he caught it.
On the field, right on the left side of the screen just a moment earlier, was Ryan Kuhl. You can see him on the right side now, number 18. Just wearing his uniform today, no shoulder pads. But he's still out there, and that's a big boost for this team. One out with a season-ending injury, and he was really the senior leader of the offense as a whole. Brock Rutter, as a quarterback, will always be the centerpiece of the offense, but Ryan Kuhl was the senior. He was the vocal leader of that team. Went down with the injury.
Still is, I'm sure.
He really must be, because he's come out as an honorary captain as Jake Beasley goes deep, and it is incomplete off the hand of Beasley.
A lot of times, captains are predetermined, you know, before the season starts. A lot of times they're elected, so whether you're injured or not, that's probably your post. Usually, most teams don't rotate captains. I don't know what their policy is now. But when I was here, we elected our captains at the start of the season, and they were our captains all season.
Boy, that one just barely out of the reach of Beasley. That's one that you probably will go back and look at the tape and say, maybe I could have laid out, maybe I could have extended a little bit more. Would have been a big play. Handoff, and Bernick is hit pretty hard right at the line of scrimmage. Rutter showing off the arm there. He set that one 45 yards deep.
Yeah, we've seen now several plays by the Augie D line and them looking pretty darn good. There's that unit.
And then other times they get moved and Bernick or Magalu are through the hole.
Yeah, it's kind of feast or famine with them.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll have to keep an eye on the linebackers. I wonder if they're getting sucked up.
3rd and 9, throw over the middle. Alex Rose on the catch and flips over the first down marker.
Well, that was kind of fun.
How about that for a second effort? Ooh, they're going to mark him down shy. I don't like that call at all.
It sounds like the majority of the crowd does not either.
John Thorne. John Thorne was the man who was out there arguing, saying, hey, put that on the other side of the 45-yard line. Yeah. You know, the football actually, when he came down, was on the other side. So that might actually be a decent spot. So now, 4th and 1, 4th and an inch. Magalu in as the running back. And he will be right on the line again. We might have another measurement. Now the head referee coming in from the sideline and saying that this will move the chains.
Got that inch they needed.
Boy, Magalu's had 2 of those, and he's picked them up by a combined 2 inches.
Yeah, he looked like the ball was across the line. It was a good call by the officials. He had a pretty good game all day. The officials are doing a very nice job.
It's funny for Don Magalu, who we've already mentioned this, 11 touchdowns this year, but his average carry only goes 3.9 yards, and it's because of those situations as Rose gets his second catch of the day and blisters up the field for an 8-yard pickup. The role of the short yardage back will always produce very few yards per carry, but they are the toughest yards to gain. They're the ones when everybody's crunched up against the goal line.
Yeah, absolutely. Crowding the line of scrimmage, you got linebackers mugging up and blitzing, and
Bernick switching hips. Rutter on the carry, now throws to the near side. Beasley sucks it up and picks up the first down. That was interesting. Now penalty marker was Rutter past the line of scrimmage.
I didn't think so, but
.7:43 to play, second quarter. The Cardinals lead 14-0 over Augustana. Homecoming 2017.
yep, that's exactly what it was.
It's a loss of a down plus, I believe, a 10-yard penalty. Or is it 15?
I don't think it's 15.
Yeah, you know, that was awfully close. That's close.
I think it's a
5
and a loss of down, but the loss of down is the big one.
Brings up.
As it happens, though, it's my favorite referee signal because it looks like you're relaxing.
You just kind of.
Then a loss of down.
Oh yeah, he put the 2 hands behind the head.
Yeah, just stretch it out here a little bit.
That was awfully close.
Well, he's on the line and I'm not, so he being the line judge.
Rutter in the shotgun on 3rd and 8. Throw to the far side. Beasley met immediately after catching that football. He'll be a yard shy of the first down, and here we go again. We've had this situation already twice. The Cardinals have picked it up twice, but by the most minuscule amount possible.
Well, he really had to wait a while for that football to get there, too. All the while he was being closed in on.
That was John Esquini. Came in a hurry. The safety. And it's not Don Mugalu this time. This is Austin Bernick. 4th and 1. Cardinals trying to extend the drive yet again with a 4th down conversion. And penalty markers fly as it's a delay of game on the Cardinals.
Now they got the timeout off.
Ooh, they barely did. Penalty marker did fly deep in the secondary. But John, make that Jeff Thorne must have called the timeout prior to. Little surprised to see just how stout this Augustana defense has been. But maybe we shouldn't be, considering they held Illinois Wesleyan to 28 points. They've put up some pretty decent performances.
Defensively?
Defensively, well, I mean, they did get torched for 55 against Carthage.
Yeah, Carthage walloped them, and Carthage scares me. I think they're a lot better than everybody realizes.
Well, they have a tough test today, Illinois Wesleyan. And that will certainly have an impact on the rest of the conference. Very strange season. We were talking about this right before the game. The Cardinals sit in control of their own destiny. Carthage is a one-loss team. Illinois Wesleyan is a one-loss team. One of those two teams will now be a two-loss team after tonight. And then Wheaton sits there. Right now they're 4th in conference. They have 2 losses, but they've beaten the top team in conference.
Yeah, it's a really goofy situation.
It's one that we don't typically see very often.
Yeah. Well, and Wheaton, of course, is 2 plays away from being undefeated also. The loss to Milliken and the loss to Wesleyan were both last second and contested.
Here comes 4th and 1. Bernick on the carry. He's got it and then some. No debate about that.
And they're really committed to running the football here. I half expected to see some kind of play action there.
After the timeout?
Yeah.
Something a little trickier than that, but pretty straightforward. Just pounded up the middle, and that was Dalton Ness providing the actual little push. As Jim Godo announces the first down here on the field. PA guy for North Central. Rutter, Svikas, same play that he scored on. This time he cuts it back up the field and down at the 19-yard line. Svikas, his 3rd catch of the day.
You know what I learned today?
What's that?
I learned that Mr. Godo does this pro bono.
No way.
Yeah.
He loves it that much?
He loves it that much.
One of the best.
Mm-hmm. He's very, very professional.
Oh,
he could do it at Soldier Field.
Extremely. Carry, Damugalu shifts it back towards the middle. And a pickup of 5. And we have a close one brewing in Illinois Wesleyan as they go to the 4th quarter. The Titans lead 13-10 over Carthage.
But I tell you what, the Titan defense is something special.
Second and 5 and a throw to the flat, complete, shaking loose, running and getting inside the 5-yard line. Corey Hardeman.
Really nicely executed play there. And I think that's something that the offense had scouted out. Find that nice soft spot in the zone. Be able to make a wonderful move there to make 29 miss. He knew it too.
So now Dennis and Kaminsky check in for the near side. Svikas on the far side as Rutter points out the mic and now gets an audible from the sideline. They always check and they either receive a kill order or they'll stay with the same play. This time they go to Bernick. Bernick might be shy of the first. No, they're going to give him a touchdown. Austin Bernick in. Touchdown, North Central. Second touchdown of the day for the senior back.
Yeah, a little quick hitter there right up the gut. That's fun football. I love that.
So Svikas to hold and Liam Crotty to kick. Trying to make this a 21-0 game. It is up and it is good, and here's Austin Bernick with his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. Actually, this is Liam Crotty for the 3rd time of the afternoon with the extra point. But Austin Bernick looks good, and he's doing it on the short yardage situations that usually Don Magalu's in. Here's the touchdown.
There it was. Right up the gut. He's running really well today.
Left side of the offensive line is impressive, to say the least. You take a look at Joe Fairley. He's the left tackle, joined to his right by a freshman in Sharmore Clark, and then right in the middle is another senior, Alec LaCar. So the leadership provided by Fairley, who's a preseason All-American, and LaCar, as the center, has provided the support for Sharmore Clark that the Cardinals have really needed. And in turn, Sharmore Clark has looked incredible. And obviously the performance of Joe Fairley helps, but that left side moves people on a pretty consistent basis. Here we go with Watkins getting this game back underway. Caught at the 4-yard line. And stringing this return all the way out near the far sideline is Cannon, the backup running back. And a penalty marker comes in, and another one comes in, and a third.
Yeah, we've got them everywhere.
Cardinals up now 21-0. Austin Bernick, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5.7 yards a carry. Ryan Riskey noted this before the game as somebody to look out for. Certainly correct in that regard. Brock Rutter, meanwhile, extremely efficient. 14 of 18, a $169 and a touchdown. His main target today, Michael Svikas. Here's the penalty call. You get that call?
Some sort of personal foul. I really couldn't hear. There's some wind going on down on the field, and it's blowing right past the official's microphone, so it makes it difficult for him to hear. But the signal was a personal foul, and I did hear that there would be a mark off of half the distance to the goal from the
end of the return.
The end of the play. Yeah.
So to the 8-yard line they go. And this offense has had a real difficult time moving the football against this Cardinal defensive front. Luke Blyers, the quarterback, as he stands at the 1. Rolls out, short throw, near sideline, gives him a little bit of a cushion. Nice completion there. High percentage throw to Thomas McSorley.
Yeah, really nice play call. I enjoy that. I enjoy them working the sideline. Like you mentioned, it's a high percentage deal. There's not really anybody around him being the receiver.
Perhaps Augustana can find something there. Quick hits, quick throws. That picks up 5. 2nd and 5 on tap. Play action. Throw over the middle. Intercepted. North Central. Matt Sutherland on the pick. Yes, sir. Came flying in there. The diving attempt and catch good as Sutherland, who comes in and immediately makes an impact in this game, the junior from Cary Grove.
The Cary Grove strong program. Well, they've got him listed at 5'8". I'm not sure. Plays bigger than that, though, and that's what counts.
Big play there. Immediately congratulated by Tyler Oakley, who in his own right has made some big plays this season. But this is what this defense wants to get back to doing, taking away the football, making the quarterback have to think twice about throwing it whenever he wants to throw it. And the chain gang appears to have broken their equipment. This is now, I think, the 3rd or 4th game I've been to this year where the first down markers have snapped. You hardly ever see that.
Really?
And twice they've had to bring out the backup set.
No kidding.
Yeah. I almost have never seen this in my life, and now I've seen it almost week in and week out this year.
Well, the chain crew is coached such that if action is coming their way, they're supposed to drop the sticks to prevent injury to the players, because you don't want to run into that.
Might have just been the case where, you know, a quick little chain broke loose. Cardinals take over at the 35-yard line. Throw over the middle is complete. Cardinals back in the end zone. Jake Beasley on the receiving end of Brock Rutter's 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. Wow.
Boy, really nice route. An adjustment made by Beasley there to slow down and wait for that football to get to him, and then to accelerate and find some red turf.
That was exactly what the doctor ordered. A touchdown, a pick, and a touchdown on the next play. That is going to give the coaching staff a nice little pick-me-up. Bad snap, but the hold is good, and the kick is no good. 27-0, and the Cardinals have poured it on in the last few minutes. Matt Sutherland with the pick, and then the long touchdown to Jake Beasley, but Rutter, fantastic throw. Beasley, a nice adjustment, as you mentioned, on the receiving end, and he's getting the congratulations on the sideline, and here's the play.
Yeah, you see him throttle down there, make that adjustment. That looked fantastic.
Beasley, he's a specimen. 6'3", runs a sub 4.40. And you talk to Coach Jeff Thorne and you say, you know, what do you see in this guy? And he says, this guy has NFL combine numbers.
Yeah.
Question is, how quickly can they get him completely up to speed and comfortable in this offense where he can be on the same page with Brock Rutter? Because when that happens, oh boy, look out.
Yeah, what year is that fella again?
Freshman.
Oh boy.
Yep. Jalen Dennis is a freshman, and they have compared him to the likes of Dylan Warden, who in his own right was a huge contributor for a number of years. Oh, bad decision to catch that football for Cannon. They'll mark Augustana out at the 5-yard line. That's a real head scratcher right there.
And if you let that go out, it's your ball at the 35. You're giving up 35 yards or 30 yards there.
It's almost as if he was fielding a punt. That's how he was approaching that, it seemed. But out Beasley, 3 catches, 47 yards, a touchdown. Michael Svikas, 3 catches, 61 yards, and a score. While Brock Rutter, 15 of 19, 204 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Rutter seems to have appeared to turn the corner in this game and really start accelerating how quickly this offense can move the football. Blyers in the shotgun, standing just inside his own goal line. Handoff. Nice hole there provided for Pitra. And a nice little pickup.
Yeah, get themselves a little breathing room, get away from the end zone, and they've got some room to make things happen. Opens up the playbook a little bit now because you got second and middle distance.
Just an update now from Illinois Wesleyan. The game taking place in Bloomington. Carthage remains 3 points behind the Titans as Pitra finds a lot of green grass to roam. Justin Sturzman knocks him out of play. And I think I just heard a foot stomp next door to us, the coaching staff. Boy, this defense has been so good all afternoon that is the most explosive play Augustana has had.
Yeah, definitely the biggest hunk of yardage they picked up, I believe. Boy, really nice job up front by the Augustana O-line, sealing that up and creating that hole.
Also nice vision from Pitra on the cutback.
I believe that was designed.
Snap, Blyers. Throw over the middle, tipped and incomplete. That was Hunter Leduc who got a hand on it, but still with the chance to catch it was receiver Ryan Hennessy. Just barely in and out of the hands. But Hunter Leduc has looked well today as the nickelback.
Yeah, he's had one heck of a game. We've called his name a few times already, and it's not even halftime yet.
It appears, and by no means is Augustana a power of throwing the football, but it appears the secondary moves are effective in this game so far. Completion over the middle.
Yeah, Augustana has never really been known as a team that's going to throw it all over the field, even going back to their heyday and when they ran the wing T and would throw the ball 2 or 3 times a game. No exaggeration there. But they had a quarterback for a little while shortly after they got out of that, and his name is escaping me right now. But he was more of a mobile quarterback anyway.
Swallowed in the backfield. Tyler Oakley, make that Josh Leonard. Comes in for the sack. 2:06 to play.
It's really going to bother me. I'm going to have to look that up at halftime. That quarterback, he was good.
Timeout taken by North Central. They want to make this a 5-score game before they reach the break.
Hey, that'd be great. Homecoming. little dazzle for the crowd a little bit, get some guys some playing time.
Great display by the defense on the defensive front as they got to the quarterback quickly. Now the offense will soon take the field. You expect a punt here from Augustana, and that's how the Cardinals are setting up as well. Pat Cravens is standing at his 30. 2:06 to go in the half. And maybe not even for this game, but just a chance for the offense to go through the rhythms of a potential 2-minute drive.
Yeah, that would be good. Get a little experience there. If I'm Augustana, maybe not necessarily punting the football here. You know, you're 1-5. You're down 27-0.
Come up with a trick play or so.
Yeah, that would kind of be the time to do it. Your defense hasn't been super effective at stopping the North Central O from the jump, so. Yep,
blocked
there it
by
is.
NCC, recovered. Plucked out of the air, and we have Nostradamus in the booth with me. Noah Swisshelm recovered the football. That's number 46. Who got their hand on it?
I didn't see that, but there were about 3 or 4 guys that could have.
Tyler Hull appears to be the one receiving heaps of praise on the sideline. Let's take a closer look at this. And yes, it is. It is Tyler Hull, the defensive back.
But block punts are so fun. You know who was a block punt master? Was Lenny Radke.
Oh, no.
He had a couple of them. Yeah. And I think on one at least, and maybe more than one, he was able to block it, scoop, and score.
Rutter with pressure from behind gets it away. It's screened to Austin Bernick, and away he goes, winding up and down the field. Finally settling at the 14, maybe the 13-yard line. Cardinals could actually have 2 drives if they're efficient enough at the end of this first half.
Oh, boy.
Clock stops because of the first down, and the chain gang will move it up the field. But there's the punt block and the recovery. Well designed, and they just sent the house.
They should have. If you're going to lollipop those snaps back there like that.
Rutter hands it off again. Brunig will power his way forward to the 10. Esquini on the tackle. And now Rose checks back in. Ruiz comes out. Minute 20. So maybe the Cardinals will slow it up and make sure that this drive consumes the rest of the first half.
It's probably not a bad idea. They've only got 1 timeout left.
Might be what Coach Jeff Thorne is thinking right now as he takes a knee and watches on. Another handoff to Brunig, turns the corner, and a flag comes in late. This one is going to be coming back. Might be on Michaels Fickus.
Yeah, I believe that's a hold.
Receiver on the near side. Yeah, that wind is nasty down there.
Yeah, it's strange because it's literally blowing straight from south to north. So we sit here on the east side of the field with our window wide open, and there's not even a hint of a breeze in here. There's no air movement whatsoever because it's blowing straight south to north.
There's Fickus on the hold. So they'll back this up. Still second down, but now from the 18-yard line. Rutter flushed, throws on the run, touchdown Jalen Dennis! What a grab! And a penalty marker at the 18-yard line. Sharmore Clark had to wait to get up. Looked like there might have been a skirmish between he and Austin Nice, a defensive end. Who's this foul going to come against?
Yeah, I have no idea. And when?
Nice is coming off the field. Brock Rutter looks a little hobbled. I wasn't tracking what happened behind the play because obviously the eye is drawn to the pylon when a play occurs like that.
Yeah, when I followed the football myself. I wasn't watching the backfield.
Might be a good time if we have the replay. Let's take a look if maybe we had something in the backfield. I don't know if we will. Let's take a look because Rutter was flushed out. Here comes Nice. He's at the top of the screen. He's working up against Joe Fairley. And nowhere near Brock Rutter. There was a scrum right in the middle of where the original line of scrimmage
Just looked like a bunch of people got piled up.
Cardinals seem happy with whatever the decision has been. Jeff Thorne remains on the field, and now the officiating crew goes to the far sideline to talk to Steve Bell, the head coach of Augustana. I don't think we're going to see whatever extracurricular activity occurred following the play, but there's Sharmore Clark, number 55, in the middle of things, and he gets rolled up on by Nice.
It almost looked like maybe Fairley had a hold of the back of Nice's jersey for a split second, but it was so far away from the play and the ball was already gone that it kind of didn't matter. And it was literally for a split second. But you do see a little bit of jersey pull there.
So it is against North Central.
Yeah, dead ball on sportsmanlike conduct against the Cardinals. I didn't catch a name or a number because you can't hear a darn thing with that wind blowing past the official's mic. So the touchdown will count, and it sounds like this will be enforced on the kickoff since it was a dead ball foul.
Still waiting for play to resume. For a second, I thought they ejected a Cardinal player. That one is through the uprights. It's now 34-0 NCC. But it appears as though nobody was ejected, so it is just a personal foul. But what about this play from Jalen Dennis? How about this grab? Let's not let this be overshadowed here.
Yeah.
And the throw from Rutter.
Yeah, really nice. Let him right out front, put him where only Jalen Dennis could get at the football.
How did Brock Rutter wind up down there so quickly, by the way?
He was rolling that way from the jump, so he just kind of continued his roll. Yeah.
It's like, you know, old-time Brett Favre. He would just run. He'd sprint down the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what Brock Rutter does. Somebody, I believe it was DJ Workenthien, picked off a pass last week, and who was the first one to chest bump him? It was Brock. He met him at like midfield. He was running out there. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. He's just always so full of energy. Another update from Bloomington, Illinois. The Titans lead the Redmen 13-10. 3 minutes remaining. And the Carthage Redmen have the football, driving now inside midfield.
It has really been a defensive battle all day down there in Bloomington.
You said this before the game. You told me, hey, I wouldn't, you know, I'd expect this to be 10-7. There we go. Good coverage on the return for the Cardinals down to the 24-yard line. 45 ticks remaining in this first half.
Yeah, and I think the Redmen are going to come out on top. Carthage is better than everybody thinks.
Illinois Wesleyan is highly thought of. They're ranked pretty high in the top 25 according to D3Football.com. The Cardinals beat them earlier this season 26-13 here at Benedetti Worley Stadium. And now they face another difficult test against Carthage at home. And a turnover on downs gives the Titans the football. So now they have the task of winding out the clock.
Yeah, it's theirs to win it. Put the game on the backs of their offensive line and tell them to win the game, get a couple of first downs. That Carthage defense might have something to say about it, though.
There's a dispute about the clock. And now they'll just say,
yeah, let's go to halftime.
End of the half. So that's what we'll do. We will go to the half at Benedetti Worley Stadium. A fantastic performance in the first half from the Cardinals on homecoming weekend. They'll be happy as they hit the break. Coming up on the halftime show, we'll have the athletic band take the field. Homecoming court also taking place at the half, and then we'll wrap up with our Cardinal Corner or check the tape against Wheaton and make that quick hits with Dom Mugalu. So stick around. On NCTV 17, we'll be back for the second half in just a short bit. Welcome back after a halftime of festivities here on homecoming weekend. We had the band and the cheerleaders and the dance team perform, and we had the homecoming courts. Congratulations to all the nominees, but the football game in the first half was eventful as well. The Cardinals started out a little slow, but they really poured it on late. Welcome back into the broadcast booth. Kevin Jackman, Grant Sabo. Fun finish to the first half, and it was Brock Rutter really airing it out and trusting his receiving targets.
Yeah, you know, and that's what ended up putting points on the board. But, you know, you take away some penalties, and you've got some pretty exciting ground game, too. You've got some scores that were taken off the board there. So it's really nice to see the offense firing on all cylinders, and, of course, an unbelievably stellar performance being turned in by the Cardinal defense right now.
Well, let's talk about that, because there was one play where Augustana gained 25 yards, and they were extremely upset about that. The Cardinal defense was. They pitched almost a perfect first half of football.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they did. There's still a goose egg up on that scoreboard. They should be elated at their performance so far. They should want to build off of that, and I have a feeling that they will. But obviously the game plan is in place, and the execution is right on point.
Just about ready for the second half of play. Both teams have now taken the field as we are set to go. Cardinals coming out of the break. And at some point, we'll meet up with our sideline reporter, Ryan Risky, who's on the field just getting a few questions in with Coach Jeff Thorne, as this half is just about set to get going. Wilkins will kick it away. Right after this kickoff, we'll get to our sideline reporter, Ryan Risky. Caught at the 2. Here comes Cannon. Good cut up the field. And out of bounds at the 27-yard line. A penalty marker comes in, arguably holding. And let's go down to the field and Ryan Risky, who just chatted with Coach Jeff Thorne.
All right, guys, I just talked to Coach Thorne as he came out of the locker room. He said the offense kind of got it going a little more when they opened it up after the first couple series when they had the 3 and out and then the fumble. Well, and then they opened it up, threw it some more on first down. Then they were able to get it going from there, and the guys haven't looked back. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, pretty succinct and pretty true. I mean, boy, that start to the game, the 3 and out and the fumble, kind of a cause for concern, but after that, it was just lights out. Pretty good stuff from that offense. They'll back it up, 15-yard line after a penalty called on the opening kickoff of the second half. Defense, as we mentioned, just a tremendous first half. In total, 53 yards allowed to Augustana. Throw to the near side, complete. That's Hennessy on the reception after Jacobs make that. That is Blyers who threw that pass.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just saw a shirt that made me stop and scratch my head for a second, but then confirmed to myself that it was indeed true. It said Freshman Homecoming 2021. And that's absolutely correct.
Yeah? Wow.
The people that are freshmen this year will be graduating in 2021. That's unbelievable to me.
The new generation. A new generation meets the old generation on homecoming weekend. That's one of the coolest elements as Augustana gets stuffed at the line.
Yeah, and we were talking about this before the game, too, about how different homecoming is at the collegiate level versus the high school level, because at the high school level, it's really more about the festivities for the students and having fun and all kinds of events and hoopla there. But collegiate level really is more about the alumni coming back and seeing the campus and seeing to have some events and reunions and the football game and everything like that.
Pitra, the running back, splits out wide, covered by Tommy Sora. And now the quarterback Blyers has plenty of pastures to frolic in. And he'll take a massive hit at the 45-yard line, but a big chunk of yards for Augustana.
He did quite a bit of frolicking before he took that hit.
Yes, he did. Blyers Boy, he's tried his best to get something going, but really nothing. He has an interception, but the Cardinals secondary for the most part has been phenomenal after making some adjustments. They go back to work, 1st and 10 from the 46, and again he'll try and take off and run. And slips a couple of arm tackles from Andrew Cray and DJ Workenthien, finally brought down after a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, this is the best offensive production we've seen from them consistently today. Quarterback scrambling around and making something happen with his feet.
4 wide with the wide receivers, 2 on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And a lofted pass to the far side, and that's complete. A penalty marker comes in. The pass intended and caught by the tight end, Max Uranich. Let's see what this penalty marker has in store.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see anything.
And it looks like it's on North Central.
It's on North Central, yeah.
They're going to march even further up the field?
I don't think so. I think it's getting declined.
And you are correct, sir. So let's sum up what that first half brought us, and it brought a ton of change. As we can speak over the replay, the cornerbacks are different. It's Pat Cravens and Tyler Oakley set out wide. Justin Sturzma and Matt Sutherland, the 2 safeties. Occasionally, Tyler Hull will come in as a 3-safety look, and Hunter LeDuc will come in as a nickel back. Far side, intercepted Tyler Oakley, right on cue.
That is a really late flag. That must be some kind of dead ball foul.
Taunting, apparently, on North Central.
Somebody must have said something.
It is a first down for the Cardinals. They do get the turnover, but it'll back them up. Tyler Oakley. What a phenomenal effort on intercepting that football.
Yeah, really got the jump on that route.
It has to have been something he said. I didn't see anything physically that he had done. Let's take a look at the replay. First, admire just the athleticism to make this. This is actually the long pass play to set up. The one to set up. We'll get back to that in just a moment, as it's a carry. Bernick fumbles it, and Augustana recovers at the 10.
Well, that wasn't any kind of good.
Boy, he coughed that up almost immediately after getting hit. That is something that almost never happens.
Yeah, and it took a wonderful bounce right into the hands of an Augustana defender.
So now that actually the penalty looms a bit large, because this ball is now knocking right on the goal line. If it wasn't, it'd be about 15 yards further up the field.
Sure.
Here's the fumble, and yeah, there, just a fortuitous bounce into the hands of a Viking football player. I believe that was linebacker Andrew Anderson. I take that back, Sam Francis. 12:23 to go. Already 2 turnovers. Jacob has it, stands at the 15. Cardinals with no safety help. Quarterback keeper escapes and still trying to shimmy loose, and finally picks up at least a half a yard.
Yeah, they've got everybody locked up, and that's probably because they're trying to spy the quarterback to prevent exactly that from happening.
Seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever Jacobs is in, perhaps more of a run game. When Blyers is in, you expect them to air it out a bit more, although Blyers has been taken off of the feet, but more because the pocket's collapsing. 2nd and 9, 2nd and goal. Handoff, no, quarterback keeper. And swallowed up on the play.
Yeah, they're forcing North Central to account for the quarterback.
To which North Central will
happily oblige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the linebackers to spy. There was Tommy Sora on the tackle.
All right. The idea is to set something up off of that, you know, some kind of misdirection, play action.
Now 3rd and goal. Pitra splits out wide. Blyers, the quarterback, and he is met by Josh Leonard, escapes, And Leonard able to get back to the quarterback and still takes him down. Required some extra help.
Well, there have been several instances today in which we've seen some arm tackles not function properly and not get the job done. Cardinals really got to work on keeping and putting a body on somebody. Also credit the Augustana offensive line for sticking with their blocks and trying to pick the fleas off their quarterback there.
I like that. I like that phrase.
Came up with it on the fly right now.
Well done. 4th and goal, so they will try and put some points up on the board. 24-yarder on tap for the kicker, Jacob Stites. Bad snap. The kick is up. Looks true from here. It is not. The shutout will continue.
Yeah,
it was
maintain
wide,
that goose egg.
Wide right.
Uh-huh.
Bad snap. Doomed that from the start.
Well, it looks like they are having some kind of long snapping issues. They've got a bad snap on the field goal attempt. They've been lollipopping the punt snaps back, which led to the blocked punt. Brandon Leggett's got his work cut out for him. It's the Augustana long snapper.
So the Cardinal offense takes the field, and although 2 minutes have gone by, the Cardinals have actually gained 10 yards of field position without giving up any points. Kind of a funny game in that regard sometimes.
Yeah, isn't it?
Rutter drops back, throws it to the flat, deflected. Good awareness on the play as he receded. Grant Burke put a mitten there.
Yeah, well, I mean, entirely credit the North Central defense with all of that, gaining those 10 yards back, continuing just the masterful performance we've seen so far from them this afternoon.
Yeah, putting a crummy spot.
Oh, the worst.
Stood up, yeah.
The worst spot.
You take the field and it's 1st and goal. That's tough. 2nd and 10 for Rutter and company. Throw in and out of the hands of Alex Rose, the tight end. One thing that I've thought about in recent weeks is it's been a while since the Cardinals have had a tight end really heavily involved. Nolan Bernick was a red zone target the last few years, but really not the focal point. You have to go back to the days of A.J. Thomas, who I know is here today, in the 2013 season. But even before him, Kyle Fedorowicz was the last real dominant tight end that has been featured in this offense.
Sure, you had Fedorowicz. We would line up Eric Studeman as a tight end, although he was more of a wide out, and he is currently the offensive coordinator at Aurora University under Rick Ponks.
Throw over the middle. It is almost intercepted. Intended for Joshua Ruiz and a 4th down for the Cardinal offense.
But the passing game is looking a little bit out of sync right now.
I would agree. But when you have an offense like this, and certainly maybe it's a testament to Jeff Thorne and his ability to curve the offense around the abilities of his current roster. But are you missing something when you don't have a dominant pass catching tight end?
It depends on your scheme, and that's one thing that the Thorns have been wonderful at. It is very easy for a coach to say, this is my scheme and this is what I'm going to run and this is what I'm comfortable with.
Good return to the 50-yard line.
The Thorns have never done that. They have never decided on a scheme and then used their personnel to fit their scheme. I give them all the credit in the world for taking a look at what their strengths are and playing and scheming to their strengths. There's terminology that's pervasive throughout the offense, but there is no set scheme. If they've got a mobile quarterback like an Aaron Fanthorpe, they're going to run option. If they've got a passer like Cam Kaniss, they're going to sit in the pocket and throw the ball, you know, or like a Rutter. They are very.
Oh, and almost intercepted again by Cravens.
Yeah, very adaptable. They won't ever determine a scheme until they take a look at their personnel and decide what is going to give them the best chance to win. So many coaches don't do that, and I think that that's wonderful.
Almost a similar experiment this year for the defensive side, considering the fact that they have too many good linebackers. Justin Sturzma was an all-world linebacker last year, moves back to safety to fit DJ Workenthien because they want that aggressive play on the field. pass caught 9 yards upfield at the 41-yard line, brings up 3rd and 1. So, I mean, I guess it's pervasive throughout the team. You know, offense and defense, they'll bend and they'll kind of try and figure out ways to get their best people on the field and in the best situations. Is that easier said than done as a coaching staff?
Oh, it's next to impossible to do. It's you have to have so much knowledge and such a bank of things that you can go to and ideas that you can use in order to, especially offensively, see what you've gotten and what ways you can make them dangerous.
Tommy Soar and Hunter LeDuc stand down the running game from Augustana. Ooh, they're going to give them the first down.
Wow. Yeah, offenses are so complex and schemes are so complex to get to know and to understand and to fully develop all the things you can do out of them, and to know so many that you can take and fit and mold your personnel to it is quite a feat, and that's why, I mean, Brad Spencer and Jeff Thorne are such cerebral coaches. They are so smart and so brilliant, you know, to have the ability to do that.
Lyers drops back, pressure from Amante Logan, dumps it off. DJ Workenthien right there to wrap up the ball carrier and hammer him to the turf. That's Pitra on the catch and a loss of 4. And with 8:25 to go, an injured Augustana player on the turf, far side at the 37-yard line. Want to talk about this defensive line. As we were chatting about the coaching staff, 4 players walked off the field, 4 players walked on. That's how deep this defensive line is. You have the unit of Ben Wiley, Taha Ione, Matt Taylor, and Tyrone Suggs come off the field. And then Andrew Cray, Amante Logan, Josh Leonard, Billy Dowds come on. Those are 8 starters. You literally go 8 starters deep on the defensive line.
Yeah, I really think that the D-line is, as of right now, the best unit on this football team. Their coaching is good. Their motor is unbelievable. You know, they do all of the little things right. It's very, very rare that they get caught out of position. You know, it's all very, very fundamentally sound and strong and fast and nasty. And it's just it's a deadly combination. It's really kind of the strength. I felt like last year the DBs were kind of the strength of the defense. You know, you had that senior laden group that was good. And I feel like this year the D-line is kind of taking up that mantle, and they're having fun, and they're really just dominating that line of scrimmage.
2nd and 13 after the loss on the screen pass. Handoff to Cannon. Cannon tiptoes the sideline, gets upfield. Where will they mark him out?
Yeah, it's tough to tell from here.
And they'll back him up. Oh, wow. Way back.
He mustn't have tiptoed anything.
Let's not put him on a tight walk rope anytime soon.
Should I tell him to take the cable off of Niagara Falls?
Brings up a
That was going to be the
6.
post-homecoming display, wasn't it?
Oh, boy. I hope not. 3 receivers set near side for Blyers. Man in motion is Tom Dulles. Swamped in the backfield, wrapped up around the waist, and brought down. That is Billy Dowds in there for the sack, and it brings up 4th down.
All right, that is what they needed. Augustana offense showing some signs of life here, but still not able to convert at the end of the day when they need to.
Cardinals a few weeks ago set a program record for yards allowed in a game, 92. That was it.
That was against North Park?
That was. They might not challenge that today, seeing that Augustana had put up 50 in the first half and then just put up in about another 40 or so. But it looks like a very similar effort. As to the sideline, out of play past the 20-yard line.
Yeah, really, apart from one half of football all season long, this defense has been among the best I've ever seen on this field.
I would agree. And now, if they can iron out some of the issues they've had in the secondary, this defense could get even scarier.
Yeah, I mean, I say issues with quotes around it there, because it's hard to call.
Maybe adjustments.
Yeah, I like that better.
They've certainly had adjustments in the secondary. That is probably a better way to phrase that, because they do have the personnel And on most other CCIW teams, it would probably be considered a strength. 1st and 10 for Rutter. Play action. Goes to the far sideline. Svikas on the catch in the first down. But how about Rutter? I don't think that was a progression. I think he literally looked off the defense there. Quick snap to the right and then throw back left.
Yeah, it did seem as though he had already made up his mind but wasn't looking there.
Looked and then, yeah.
Yeah, it was just to get people moving the wrong way and open up a window.
First and 10 from the 31. Man in motion is Bernick. And again, snaps back left. And a good comeback route on the far side. Down at the 46-yard line is Josh Ruiz, his first catch of the afternoon.
Really kind of spreading the love around today.
Good day to do it. You have seemingly all these passing lanes. Brock Rutter's been so efficient.
Yeah, and everybody stepping up in the absence of Kaminsky.
Kaminsky I saw earlier riding the bike.
Yeah, he's sitting on the bench right now.
Bernick with a 5, 6, now a 7-yard carry on the play.
Yeah, if he did indeed get dinged up, which it looked like happened on that on the return in a game that's relatively well in hand, you kind of want to rest him a little bit. He looks like he's walking around fine.
There he is right there, number 11. We used to call number 11 sticks. Is that prevalent in football?
I've never heard that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe that's a baseball thing. Boy, Burnett gets hammered after taking the carry. Marker flies into the midfield marker. But I agree. You know, you have a receiver already go down this year. You can't afford to lose your next up number 1. And in a game where it's 34-0 as the penalty goes against the Cardinals, why chance it? Plus, you've got other guys that can get some experience running with the first-team offense. Jalen Dennis, in particular, is a guy that they're really excited about that could probably use more snaps.
Sure.
Same with Jake Beasley, who's about to come on the field. Second and 12. Rutter. Svikas. Wow. Inside midfield down to the 33. They've run that play now 3 times, and it has paid off all 3 times. And Rutter.
Roughing the passer. Personal foul.
Rutter took a big hit at the end of that one. And they'll move this ball even further up the field.
Yeah, they yanked him down from behind after he let the ball go.
Should be, if my math is correct, about the 18-yard line. They have it at the 31. Should be a 15-yard penalty from there. So that's a big, big play for the offense.
Huge.
But Michael Svikas, this isn't a name we've called a ton this year. 11 catches, 140 yards coming in. But he has produced at an extremely high clip today. And in traffic.
Yeah, it's fun. Like a couple weeks ago, we had not really called Ion's name coming into the broadcast, and he had a heck of a day.
Yep.
Today it's Svikas.
It's just fun when guys like that
exactly
emerge.
Right, just to kind of say, hey, I'm here too. Watch what I can do.
Bernick dives forward. Austin nice with the tackle. So Austin v. Austin. 4:24 to go. Running game, even that was probably one of their least successful runs this afternoon, and it still produces 4 yards. It's really a nice weapon to have in your back pocket for a team that is so dynamic through the air when they're really moving. Beasley, Dennis, Svikas, the 3 wide receivers in the ball game. Alex Rose, the tight end, right side of the offensive line. Throw is a duck, and Rutter winds up on his back, courtesy of Austin Nice.
Yeah, that didn't come out right.
Was that tipped, or did it just?
I don't think so. Sometimes it slips.
Jeff Thorne seemed upset that his quarterback just took a massive hit at the end of that play. He does not want Rutter winding up on his back and exposed quite like that. Not for a team that has national title hopes. especially. No team wants their quarterback on their backside,
but in particular.
3rd and 4, handoff Bernick, and going to be close to the first down.
Yeah, I expect a steady diet of that. I think they're going to keep running the ball here. I would expect Jeff Thorne to protect Rutter after that, the last couple of plays for the rest of the game here.
Already up 34-0. Although, having said that, no points in the second half.
Correct.
Probably want 1 or 2 more touchdowns with this first group before they...
1.
You think 1?
Yep. Yeah, I do.
Think the fourth quarter belongs to Alec Fiden, backup quarterback?
I think so. I think they put this in here, and I think that's it for the starters.
Bernick, 3rd touchdown of the afternoon. Runs right over a Viking to take the hat trick. And it's now 40-zip NCC on homecoming.
Maybe getting jealous of Magalu's touchdown total there. Got some catching up to do.
Hey, but don't put it past Austin Bernick. He had 18 2 years ago.
No, of course not.
It's a nice day for the senior back in front of the massive crowd here at Benedetti Worley Stadium. Chippy's happy, although he's always sporting a smile on his face, kind of because he has to. Liam Crotty with the field goal. It's good, 41-0. And here is the touchdown to Bernick.
Well, look at that movement by the O-line. Look at them seal that up.
Right side, that's Alec LaCar and Dalton Ness, the center and right guard, just paving the way. Don't forget about Colton Balknett, the right tackle either.
Yeah, he really had a nice isolation block one-on-one on that end.
You know, Colton Balknett is a multi-talented dude.
Oh?
A swimmer back in high school and...
A swimmer and an offensive lineman.
I know.
Really.
Interesting
you don't
combination.
Not see that combination very often.
He's also apparently a pretty solid singer. We've been given some names. We need to have a sing-off between Matt Taylor, Tyrone Suggs, and Colton Balknecht.
This sounds,
by my understanding,
this sounds like gold material for the red zone.
Hopefully at some point we can get a karaoke machine out to practice one day and let it rip. Into the end zone. This is... thought that would still have been a live ball. They waved it off, but here's a question for you. We'll have you answer one of the quick hits from a few weeks ago. What's your go-to karaoke song? Oh,
I've got 2.
Oh, wow, you're prepared.
Yeah. I've got Sublime by Santeria.
Nice.
Yeah, and Nothing to Lose by Josh Grayson, If I'm Feeling Country.
All right. Probably the most interesting answer was Sharmore Clark. He said the Beach Boys.
Really? Really?
Baba Baran.
I'd really love to hear that.
We made him do a little bit of it, in which very, very shy. He's a freshman, so probably not quite assertive yet. But,
sure.
But we made him do it. You know, ba 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 ba.
Does he do the bass part, or does he do the high part?
He
there?
only did, well, he was doing the bass.
Okay.
He's got the low, deep voice.
That's kind of like, I want to hear some Brian Wilson falsetto from him.
We'll bring in Matt Taylor for that. But I heard Tyrone Suggs is the best dancer, the best singer, and oh, hey, by the way, he's the starting defensive tackle. He could have his own one-man variety show. I tell you, when I was here, we had a running back named Israel Brown, Izzy, and he could sing, he could rap, he was a pretty talented guy himself, and he could run the football. Those got to be fun teammates to have as Augustana completes a pass to the outside, gain of 4. Yeah. Yes, they had a coach that could sing. Prentice Dixon was our D-line coach my senior year. He could sing beautifully. Maybe we'll get a coach in the action as well. I wonder who owns the best pipes on the coaching staff. I don't know. Pressure in the backfield. Throw is caught at the 32. Not nearly enough for the first down. It was 3rd and 6. Pass caught by Hennessy brings up 4th down, and Augustana appears to be poised to punt. Dakota Creemans will return the kick. Quick hits this year have been phenomenal. We've had some just pure entertainment. And not to continue to harp on this, but Tyrone Suggs and Amante Logan were phenomenal. Spiraling kick, fair caught, and it's at the 41. My favorite one, we asked the two of those guys, Suggs and Logan, to build their custom sandwich. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, but apparently, according to Monte Logan, mayonnaise is creepy if there's too much on a sandwich.
Creepy, huh?
It is creepy. I've never heard that term used to define.
I feel like that term is overused in general these days, but
maybe.
I think that this is a direct result of that.
And then Tyrone Suggs says he does not discriminate against mayonnaise, and he will take as much, and he'll take all of Amante's for his sandwich.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Mayo's key.
And then Tyrone also mentioned he loves avocado because, and as he demonstrated, it's good for the skin.
He's correct.
You football players know your stuff, don't you?
I don't know. Also, avocado is delicious.
Throwing is Fiden. The pass tipped at the line. So Rutter and the first team offense will take a seat. Second unit is in, and that, I believe, is one of the first times we've seen Fiden throw this year, as he has the reins taken off a little bit, but a mitt in there to knock it down. Yeah,
we're still in the third quarter here. A lot of times by the time he's in, kind of trying to run out the clock, but there's been enough of an offensive performance that, the lead's relatively safe, and I'm sure they're not throwing the ball super down the field, so.
Handoff, Zane Ladico.
It's also 41. No fun if you're a backup quarterback and the only time you get to go in and hand the football off, and you got to throw a little bit. If it gets too ugly, then I understand not. If it gets too late, then I understand not. But while you're still in the third quarter, I'd say, go ahead and throw it a little bit.
Cardinal station at the 46. You haven't seen a whole lot of Alec Fiden this year, at least throwing-wise. We have seen Zane Ladico, and he's looked pretty good in the running game. He came in as a running back punter hybrid, suffered an injury, and then became a really good running back. Handoff. No, it's a quarterback keeper. Flags are out all over the place. The ball skips in.
Boy, I thought Ladico had the football.
I did too.
I absolutely thought that he had the football. I don't know if it was just because you were calling him out and talking about him, but man, did my eyes follow him. And several defenders did too.
Illegal formation. Penalties decline, brings up 4th and 5. And the Cardinals will punt. So a couple of passes, both incomplete for Fiden. And the punting unit will come out onto the field. Schuster back, number 81 for the Vikings. Ladico gets it away, and wow, look at this punt. That just carried 60 yards through the air. Did you expect that to be a touchback all the way?
No, definitely not from the jump, but as soon as it left his foot, I thought that there might be a possibility. I mean, it landed several yards into the end zone.
Wow.
What a boot.
Leg. Let's take a look at the Division III scoreboard right now. At the top, some pretty expected results. Mary Hardin Baylor beats Belhaven 45-7. Mount Union takes care of business 66-7, but UW Oshkosh is having trouble putting away UW La Crosse 35-28 third quarter.
La Crosse is all right. They knocked off somebody earlier this year.
They have been known to rise to the occasion, take down some pretty decent teams. Stevens Point, Eau Claire, both going down, and they almost upset Whitewater as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole WIAC is a nasty conference.
And as I say that, Oshkosh just put up a touchdown, 42-28.
All right. Stout's looking good this year.
Hardin Simmons barely scraped by against Texas Lutheran as the third quarter comes to an end. 33-30. The number 5 team in the country almost went down. St. Thomas in a nail-biter against Hamline, 84-0.
I was about to ask you who Amline was. I'm like, I've never heard of them. St. Thomas, really? 84, my goodness gracious.
And the fourth quarter just started.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's a tough game to be on the other side of the field for.
Just knee on the ball.
I know.
You can't even do that.
It's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. That's right. You know, just put in your guys and run literally the same running play
over and over and over. But we saw this happen at the half. I don't know if we've reported on it since. Illinois Wesleyan escapes with a win against Carthage, 13-10. Redmond had the ball inside midfield, went for it on fourth down, popped it up, and the Titans able to run out the clock from there to take a big win. That is a big, big win.
It is.
But it validates Carthage.
I said they're a very good football team. We're going to have our hands full here in a couple of weeks. Is it next week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Next week, the football team travels to Carroll.
Carroll, that's right.
And then returns home to face the Redmond, finishes up the season at Elmhurst.
Right.
Jacobs escapes the pocket, tripped up from behind by Taha Ayon. And Ayon, tad slow to get up.
Did I tell you I met a few of the Elmhurst football players?
No.
It was a beautiful night. I was walking my dog. I was near the campus of Elmhurst, and there were some Elmhurst football players that asked if they could pet my dog. And I started talking to him. I was dressed like a scrub. I had on the cutoffs and basketball shorts, and every question I asked, I got a yes sir, no sir. Just absolutely polite, wonderful representatives of their program, and they asked me to come watch them play. And I said, well, and that's when I told them about my allegiances. And they said, well, all right, we'll see you when we play you then. They're very pleasant young men.
That's always nice to hear.
Yeah.
Those anecdotes.
Listen, they had no idea who I was, you know. I was just a bum walking his dog.
You know, you talk about the way that these student athletes represent themselves on the field as it brings up a fourth down for Augustana. It's one thing to talk to them after the game, a camera in their face, and obviously it's easy to put on a facade of a nice person, somebody who's unselfish, but to meet these guys off the field, to talk to them, and to kind of get an understanding of who they are as actual people, not just athletes.
Especially as incognito. I mean, they're way off the clock.
It validates that as a Division III athlete, you know, it's just different. It's different than most collegiate sports.
Well,
being a D3 athlete.
I think that Division III athletics is the purest form of athletics in America, because when you play here, there is just about zero chance that you're getting any kind of reward for it monetarily. You know, in high school, you could play well enough to earn yourself a scholarship and get your college paid for. If you're playing at any other level in college, you're having your school paid for. If you're playing professionally, you're obviously being paid for it. But any athlete who plays Division III football is playing only because, or any Division III athletics, is playing purely because they love the sport. They love the camaraderie. They love being around it, and that's why they're here, and that's the only reason why they're here. It's so pure.
Ladico breaks free, pick up of 14 yards.
And does he look good? He looked good a couple weeks ago, too.
He's fun to watch. But that is true. And you mentioned that there's no monetary gain. No, virtually none. But, you know, every once in a while, one of these guys will break through.
It is so rare.
Some Mount Union guys who made it in.
Cecil Shorts and Pierre Garcon, but who else, you know?
Joe Callahan, who we saw a few years ago, is now the backup quarterback for Green Bay.
Packers, yeah, that's correct.
He's now number 2 on the depth chart behind Brett Hundley.
Yeah, and then, you know, guys like London Fletcher.
Yep.
But I mean, that's kind of it. You had Andy Studebaker from Wheaton.
I was just going to say, the defensive end.
Yeah, and Pete Ittersagen, who was a Wheaton DB as well that I played against. And they had, Andy was in for a while, who is, I believe, now coaching at Wheaton, if I'm not mistaken. I know he was last year.
Fighting to throw. Wow. Felt the pressure, escapes the pocket, now bootlegs out and tosses it out of bounds.
Really good pocket presence, really good decision there.
I remember that Wesley game in particular, as we talk about D3 athletes going to the pros, watching that game and kind of taking in the performance by Callahan. He looked extremely poised, he looked like he had the tools, and we even talked to him after the game. He's the only opposing player we've talked to in the last 3 years after a game because he just seemed of a different caliber.
Oh, the way he took that second half over was both beautiful and made me want to puke simultaneously. But he was, you know, as gracious as anybody.
Look at Ladico go. Inside the 10, still on his feet, inside the 5-yard line. Give this guy the football.
Wow.
He's running through, he's running by, he's running over. He almost ran in.
He looks really good.
Injured player for Augustana, John Capel. But here's Ladico coming around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Barely got taken down. The last man in there was the defensive back, Devin Haxby.
See if they let him finish this drive.
He's earned it. Gets the tote. And Mr. Ladico has himself a touchdown. One of the best punters in the conference. Who knows, maybe he'll be one of the next great rushers of the conference.
What year is he?
Just a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he is.
Huh. Well, hey, I mean, Mr. Burnett graduates at the end of the year.
Don Mugala will need a little bit of lightning to his thunder.
Sure. Some thunder of his own there. That second effort, I mean, he was stopped at the 1 and gained that yard on Will to get the score there.
Kicked up and no good. That was Watkins on the extra point, but Zane Ladico gives the Cardinals a 47-0 advantage over Augustana. Now that was Liam Crotty, I take that back. But fourth quarter is always fun to watch when you're at this point, see some of the second unit guys come in.
Sure.
And certainly Ladico's one of these guys. I had a chance to talk to his dad a few weeks ago when I went down and reported on the Wash U game. His dad had made the trip, and he was extremely excited to see Zane starting to get more time as a running back. I don't think it's a courtesy. I think he's earned it.
Oh, well,
absolutely.
By the looks of it, yeah, he looks really darn good. You know, and I mean, you don't. If you've got a world-class punter, you don't want to give him that as a courtesy and get him hurt for no reason, you know. But if he's a legitimate ball carrier, as Ladico is, you want him getting some reps in case you know you got to use him. So
fun to watch. Cardinals kick it away yet again. And the return will go to roughly the 20. Ooh,
still on his feet.
The running back Cannon to the 30-yard line. So now the defense will come back out there.
Yep. President Troy Hammond walking by the booth here.
Take a look at some of the offensive stats for this game because they're really starting to pile up. Austin Bernick, 114 yards, 3 touchdowns. Good day. Zane Ladico, 57 yards and a touchdown in just about 4 minutes of game action. I'd say that's a really good day.
I would say so.
Michael Svick has 5 catches, 98 yards, a touchdown, his best day as a Cardinal. Following up on last week's best day as a Cardinal. Oh, great play on the ball by linebacker Corey Blair.
Oh, Corey Blair.
Number 10.
Yeah, how do you like that?
I believe he's a freshman linebacker that is right behind, slotted in as a nickelback behind Tyler Oakley on the 2D.
I didn't see the 0 for a second. I thought it was Hardy.
High snap. Brought back down, and a solid gain on the play for the Vikings. It was Austin Choss on the carry. Let's see who's out there for the Cardinals right now. Far side of the field is Nate Bailey. Near side, Kylie Dorsey on the cornerback positions. Casey Green, Zach Greenberg is in the nickel. Linebackers, Storm Simmons. Finally get to say that name.
Yes!
Storm Simmons, the middle linebacker. Number 45, a freshman. 11:47 to go, fourth quarter. Another run. Jacobs picks up the first down.
Yeah,
They might mark him short.
I thought he had it.
I thought he had it as well. In the secondary, Tyler Hull is at one cornerback position, make that safety position. Ben Wong in there as well. And Augustana's going to punt. Dakota Cremines is the man back deep for the Cardinals. He's standing at about the 20-yard line, but that would be a tremendously long punt from Alex Bryan, at least from what we've seen today. And in fact, it will bounce. Ooh, scary as Hardy ran right by that. And it takes a friendly bounce and a roll to the 14-yard line.
Yeah, they called off the dogs on the punt block, obviously.
So 46-yard punt, and Cardinal offense will come back out. Probably more of a heavy dose of Zane Ladico now that we've reached the fourth quarter. Today's special earlier on today, and you took this all in, the homecoming ceremony, and quite a class that comes in this year. 3 football players. Brian Fennelly, also a football player from the 90s.
Yes, but was really in for his contributions for track and field.
Correct. He still owes...
But a 4-year starter.
He was on the offensive line, if I'm not mistaken.
O-line for 3 years and defensive line for his senior year.
He also still holds the record for longest discus throw.
Yes.
For the track and field team.
Yeah, and he won a national title with that, I believe, and... no, it was...
shot put?
No, it was this. He did contribute in the shot put. I think the Cardinals won a national title, and it was a closely contested one that really helped with.
Handoff, Ladico, and he's mobbed at the 19-yard line. So let's just...
The high jumper, Kerwin.
Tom Kerwin.
Okay, so he gave a speech today that I thought was really good. He 7-footer, cleared 7 foot in the high jump, which was good enough for a national championship. He still holds the indoor and outdoor records for the program. Now, the thing that blew me away that he said, okay, so this man graduated. He had an entire career. He mentioned that he's now retired. In that time, the entire track coaching staff is still intact.
No.
Like, yeah,
Wow.
it's Carius and Grammaroso and Gora, the throws coach. You never hear that. You never ever hear that. One head coach sticking around that long, let alone an entire staff. That's unbelievable. He was talking about how he was getting recruited by Grammy. Like, come on, come on. You know, and he's already retired. Like that blows my mind.
Wow.
Absolutely blows my mind that those guys have been able to coach for that long and have such sustained success for that long. That's unbelievable to me. And then he said something that I also thought was really kind of cool and classy. And he said, hey, he's challenging those coaches to go out and get a good high jumper because that record stood for long enough. It's time to come down.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That's a great attitude. Cool guy.
Cardinals come off the field, a punt forthcoming. Ladico pounds the rock, and unfortunately this might be, it's going to be a safety. So Augustana will get on the board courtesy of a 2-pointer.
Well, I did get to see a safety today, although not the kind I wanted.
So Tom Kerwin, we touched on him, track and field, graduated in the class of 1980. Brian Fennelly, we've mentioned him as well, 1994, the discus thrower. Lenny Radke, we've talked about he and Cam Kniss. Amber Druin, a track and field athlete from 2007.
Yeah, she's still training, is I believe hoping to get qualified for the Olympic marathon, if I'm not mistaken. Impressive. She gave a really cool speech about adversity and how her coach has helped her to overcome that. Really, really neat to hear her talk about it.
Adam Johnson, a wrestler, rounds out the group.
Well, what a charismatic speech he gave. He just kind of told a couple of stories, one about how he wound up here at North Central, and then one about this morning when he tried to participate in the alumni wrestling meet, and how he said, talk about all morning about, I still got it. He's like, I don't got it. He said he was telling himself how much he didn't got it over a trash can this morning.
That's too funny. Yeah, wrestling's the kind of sport that I imagine would be difficult to just pick up. This might be an onside kick. Wow, nice recovery there by Augustana. Nearly gave it right back to the Cardinals.
The conditioning required to wrestle is just insane. I've never, just screwing around or in, high school PE class wrestling, you never go from completely fine to unable to move because you're so tired so quickly. It is a sport that is just very demanding physically of a lot of energy in not a lot of time.
It's not the kind of sport that I would participate in. I know that. It's just so, what's the right word? It's it takes
it's intense.
It is. It really is. The training is intense. The maintaining of your weight and your body is intense. It takes a lot of dedication.
Yes.
I think that's what I'm trying to get at, is the type of person who is a successful wrestler really has to devote their way of life around the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that football or basketball players don't, but you have to almost
more so.
live. You have to breathe. You have to just constantly live as a wrestler.
Yeah, it's a, you get the guys, especially at the high school level. It's winter time, so they're at school before school starts and it's dark. They leave school after practice and it's dark, and then on top of it, they're cutting weight, so they all look like zombies.
Yep, and they're all wearing sweats and they're trying to lose the water weight.
It's a lot of, man, it's a lot of respect for those guys. It's hard to do.
Complete up the field, it's Danny Oliger on the reception, and the first down for the Vikings, who are now moving the football after the safety. 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line inside Cardinal territory. 7:45 to go, fourth quarter. Cardinals running away in this one, 47-2. The 2, a new development. It was on a safety just a moment earlier. As the ball carrier, Austin Choss, takes the pitch and rumbles his way for a gain of 4. Obviously, as we sit here atop Benedetti Worley Stadium, it's easy to focus on the football players, Cam Kniss and Lenny Radke. We have a feature coming up on the Red Zone, 10 years that program has been around, chronicling this North Central football program. Almost coming up in it with an interception is the Cardinals defensive back, Darius Cook.
Yeah, he jumped it and just missed it.
But we had a chance to sit down with John Thorne, with Jeff Thorne, with Clark Tusher, with these guys who have been around for a while, have seen this program, in a way, grow up. And it was just fascinating to hear their perspective on how the development and how the progress was made in increments. Now, there's nowhere to go. Jacobs just swallowed up at the 35-yard line. The Cardinals swarming behind the line. In there first was Storm Simmons. As he claps his hands, number 45. I'll say that all day.
Yeah, but just credit to his parents for recognizing the potential for a cool name and executing on that.
But it was interesting how both John and Jeff were mentioning pivotal moments, games that seem to represent turning points in the program. And you've mentioned this as well, a game against Augustana after 2 years of having them whoop you guys up and down the field. You beat the Vikings, and then
no, 1 year. My sophomore year, we went to their place and lost 17-10.
Intercepted by the Cardinals. J.P. Sikora comes up with a pick, a one-handed interception. There's a little bit of excitement from the second unit. Gets a nice big hug from Michael Monterrubio, the linebacker coach. Here's the pick. Oh, yeah. That takes concentration.
How about it?
But that was a pivotal moment, that Augustana win that you guys had here on your home turf.
Yeah, beautiful day. It was a gorgeous day. And I know Coach John Thorne got so worked up at halftime, he actually had to leave for a little while. Wasn't feeling so hot.
Wasn't feeling so hot, or was overworked as in what was going on the field?
No, it wasn't feeling so hot.
Oh. Carey
ended up being all right, but we were all pretty emotional at halftime.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
He's still first of all, he's officially retired, and yet he's still out here every day for practice, for the games. He's on the field, and you still hear his voice ringing out.
Oh, yeah.
And I noted this earlier. We were at Milliken, and I was on the field for the second half, recording the game and just kind of reporting. And you could hear him. It almost sounded like Jerry Seinfeld. He's like, you know, there was a play where I think Rutter was hit, or somebody was hit late, and you hear him, you know, why wasn't there a call? We're trying to protect these guys out here. It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
but there he is, still fighting for his guys.
He definitely has a distinct voice, and okay, so this man played high school ball. He played at Illinois Wesleyan, so he's a CCIW alum. You know, he had a wonderful, illustrious career with, I believe, 4 state titles at Wheaton Warrenville South High School, and then he came here.
Wow.
So this man has football in his blood. It will never go away, ever. And if you look at his progeny, okay, his son Jeff goes and sets all of the records at
Eastern.
First of all, yeah, he has a wonderful career playing for his father in high school, then goes and sets all the records at Eastern, which were subsequently broken by Tony Romo.
Some low-name guys,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Then subsequently broken by Jimmy Garoppolo. So, and then, you know, he comes here and has done all of the wonderful things that he's been able to do with this program. And then now his grandson, Peyton Thorne, having a fabulous season at Naperville Central High School. And I watched Peyton, you know, grow up throwing passes to, you know, himself on this field after the games. You know, he was a little kid, and just to see him, you know, the football flows strong in that family.
Selwyn Calhoun is the running back right now that is chipping away up the field. And time being called right now. It is fun to see kids of coaches kind of grow up, and this is a little off the point, but when I was here, Coach Todd Reardon is still the men's coach, but he was coaching his son, Derek Reardon. And you would see Connor Reardon, who was probably 14 or 15 at the time, after games, we'd be throwing up shots. And now, Connor Reardon might be the best basketball player in the CCIW.
Really?
Him or Alex Sorensen will be in strong contention, barring anything wacky coming into play. Those two are going to be conference world beaters this year. And there he is, probably, you know, 20 years old now. He's going to be one of, if not the best players in the country.
That's fun.
Division III.
That's fun. Reardon was a good get.
Oh, yeah. That program has been so tremendously fun to watch. 3 minutes to go.
All credit going to Jim Miller, the athletic director.
Everything kind of funnels back to that.
Oh, sure.
And he's everywhere.
He is. He was still coaching when I first came here. He was not the athletic director. Our athletic director was Walter Johnson for the majority of my tenure here.
Longtime pitcher back in the 1920s. Walter Johnson.
No, his son David was actually my age. He played basketball with us.
Okay.
And then Coach Miller he coached football with us. He was one of the very few holdovers from the previous administration. There was him, and then there was Coach Wayne, a D-line coach, and Coach Devin Gordon, some of the alumni and whatnot. They did hold on to them, but you know, the majority of the coaches left with Coach DeGeorge. And when he came, oh, look at this.
Long run, and the Cardinals might have themselves another score. Off to the races, the backup quarterback. And there it is, big touchdown there for the Cardinals. Alex Fidon puts the Cardinals across the half-century mark. Got to feel good. So Fidon will work his way off the field, and look who's there. Brock Rutter was the first man to congratulate him on the field.
Yeah, that's what you said.
He's everywhere. He's just a ball of energy.
Yeah, back to Jim Miller. Just a phenomenal coach, phenomenal energy, you know, and would do anything for you kind of guy. So when they announced him as the new athletic director, I was absolutely elated. They couldn't have picked a better person, and somebody who bleeds cardinal and white. You know,
Oh yeah.
just you know, he's so embedded in the culture of the college, and is invested in, you know, seeing it win, and willing to work with, you know, other portions of the administration to get the things that we need. Just a phenomenal job by him, and friendly too. You know, he'll stop and chat with you. He's got time for everybody, kind of guy. You know, he's not afraid to sit there and tell you, you know, his opinion on stuff, and it's an informed, educated opinion at that. I always like hearing him talk.
A few weeks ago, we were covering volleyball, and he comes racing in from like the loading dock of Rutter Fieldhouse, and he walks in, he goes, and soccer just beat Augustana. What's going on here? Like, he's just bouncing around the campus. He's just so excited. Hey, you know, so-and-so just beat so-and-so. Let's beat these guys. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's always been how he is.
Short kick. Out of the 23. And a short return to the 33. Time nearly out in this ball game. 2:13 remaining.
You know, you mentioned Walter Johnson as a pitcher. The Walter Johnson that was here, the athletic director, would sing the national anthem quite a bit.
Multi-talented.
Yeah, he was quite good. He had a nice falsetto at the end. Augustana traveling pretty well.
Yeah, a lot of fans out there. It's a pretty bit of a hike, Rock Island to North Central.
It is, although I would be willing to bet that the majority of the people are not necessarily from the Quad Cities that attend Augustana. A lot of people come out here, so it's easier for them to come to the game at North Central than it is to go all the way out to, you know, the Quad Cities.
Cardinals essentially just trying to waste this game away.
I gotta imagine that's got to be difficult to recruit. So come out here to
Quad
Iowa.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man! Look how beautiful Naperville is.
You know, it's funny because we talked
or even Elmhurst, you know?
Right. We talked to Bill Ellinghaus, who's the coach at Neuqua Valley, the head coach of the football team. So the funniest thing is seeing these kids who grow up in the backyard of North Central, and their first thought is, I want to go away. I want to, you know, get some distance between me and where I've grown up, which I completely understand that way of thinking. But how many players then go away, realize what they're missing, coming back and transferring back in? Damugalo is one of them. And he said, you know, I went out there, I wanted to go play at the highest level I can. Even if I wasn't going to play, I wanted to go D2. Played a year, didn't like it. They kept recruiting me back here, came back, and now look at them.
Well, that's one thing that this coaching staff does, is if they lose recruits that go somewhere else, they stay in contact with them.
And
they
the
don't stop the recruiting process, which is neat. So yeah, it helps that, like, hey, come over here. Oh, you're sitting the bench? Great, we're winning titles. How about you come back here and have some fun with us? And it's like, you know what am I doing? Why am I sitting here with these guys and riding the bench and not playing when I can come back and have a whole heck of a lot of fun and get some hardware and create some memories, and by the way, everybody that I care about can come watch me because I'm right next door.
Exactly. Drew Hayes on the sack. Kills another Viking drive. There's President Hammond right there talking with Rick Spencer. Homecoming weekend, I can imagine he's a busy man. Talking with the alumni group. Rick Spencer, one of many people helping get the Red Zone off the ground 10 years ago, along with Liz Spencer. No relation, though. I should point that out.
Mr. Spencer is an unbelievable individual. I had the good fortune of playing with both of his sons, Brad and Tyke, who are two of the best receivers ever to set foot on this field. Brad held all the records, which then Tyke subsequently broke in 2 years. Tyke only played here his junior and senior year, as he transferred in from the University of Indiana, where he was playing. And seeing Tick. Yeah, he was like the number 3 receiver there. He came in and just crushed everything, him and Cam. And I tell you what, that whole Spencer family, just phenomenal people, the nicest can be.
Cardinals will knee this out. 41 seconds remaining. Fun homecoming day.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
A 54-2 victory over Augustana.
Game also provided us with some time to reminisce and talk about stories of the Hall of Famers inducted today. So before we go, let's set the stage. The clock will wind out and the teams will take the field. So North Central next will go to Carroll. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff next Saturday. They return home for the final regular season game against Carthage, who, keep in mind, dropped a game today to Illinois Wesleyan by a 13-10 score. Cardinals in control their own destiny, sure, in the CCW, but they need to beat Carthage. That is probably the biggest remaining test on the schedule.
Definitely the biggest remaining test.
And then a final game against Elmhurst down in Elmhurst. So they moved to 6-1, and they're in really good position to win the conference. It just comes down to the matter of doing it.
Correct.
Should be a fun ride the rest of the way. We'll have that game 2 weeks from now. 1 o'clock kick against the Redmen. Final thoughts from this game? I know there's a whole lot to take in.
Sure, yeah, it was just a nice tribute, a nice treat for the fans and all of the alumni coming back for homecoming. And, you know, like I said earlier, this is exactly what you want to see. It's Cardinal football at its best, at its finest. You know, some nice level of execution here, enough to, you know, win a big game against, you know, an Augustana program that is floundering a little bit. But, you know, as we said before the broadcast, not a pushover. This is, I believe, their biggest margin of defeat by quite a bit.
Well, it's a good time to thank our entire staff this afternoon. Our executive producer, Liz Spencer, our technician, Carl Schultz, our director, Mike Hubach, and our audio technician, Rachel Glover, all of them working back in the truck. Our cameramen today, Sean Laban, Ryan Risky, Zach Bucher, and our sports director, Justin Cornwell. And our producer back at the station, Caleb Donaldson. And of course, my partner here today, thank you very much, Grant Sable, for joining me. I'm Kevin Jackman, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks here on NCTV 17 for Carthage and North Central. But until then, we'll say so long from Benedetti Worley Stadium.